see the world. Aren't we all insistent to be smooth? I just step up and make it happen. It's a lifestyle. Living young and restless, yeah, we quite wild. If I want it, I'ma get it talking right now. And I ain't got no regrets, it's my time now. Lights out when you see us talking moves. You don't know that's the topic. And if you talking juice, well then you know I got it. Then you know I got it.
Nobody got it like
they can try, but can't do it like Vinny. Yeah, no permission. I got it.
You thought that I was blind, but to be honest I don't mind, cause I don't feel the same way I used to do. Every time I see you, I know the truth. Cause baby, every fucking time you've played me, you should know that I don't give a single fuck about you and your words. All the times you lied to me, I took notes. I don't know what to say. I thought you loved me, but you ran away. I've been living in the shadows for a while. Demons calling me from the afterlife. Dark doesn't faze me anymore. I can see my tears into gold. Yeah, yeah. I don't care, no, I don't care. Yeah, yeah. I don't care, I said, cause baby, every fucking time you've played me, you should know that I don't give a single fuck your words. All the times you lied to me, I took notes. I don't know what to say. I thought you loved me, but you don't. I know people come and go away. Sun is low, that's my time to shine again. Cause baby, every fucking time you play me, you should know that I don't. You call my bluff for the last time. This ain't a song, it's a battle cry. No life, I see the clue between the strobe lights. I'm haunted, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, used to want it bad, but I can't taste it, I can't help you now, okay, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my plate, now I can't think. I said woke up, take a X, and now I'm feeling this is it. Want the money, want the rest. I do purse, not no cess. They say Don, it's why you sad. I said I just need to think. Red tape, got too close, I hate the city. Black face, show you everything you need till you're fornicated. Bad, someone said it's sad. I used to want it bad. I know it's in my head, keep seeing you too many times, yeah. I know it's in my head, keep seeing you. I know it's in my head. Follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my, follow me around, okay, black face, hey, follow me around, okay, got too much up on my.
Yeah. Ay, push start, ay. Ball so hard, ay. Raise the bar, ay. Turn into a star, ay. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Cause it's fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What about too hard? Ayy, what about too hard? Ayy, about too hard, yeah. I'm killing your favorite rapper, it's minimum effort. Yeah, your corpse getting severed. The industry dry, it's a desert. Do whatever it is that you think that you're doing, I'm doing it better. Straight double use, that's my letter. Don't got no snakes, only ladders, ayy. They tryna figure out what's on our plate. Infinity sideways, we already ate. Skipping this basic, skipping this classic. Stay out of trouble, now I can relate. Nevertheless, I'm doing great. I just finished this thing, ain't no debate. You ain't my dog, you ain't my family, and sure as hell, you're not my mate. Yeah, I take my place at the summit. I can't wait till we countin' them hundreds. I cannot lie, I ain't rich, yeah, but when I say my time coming, it's coming. And some of y'all got ahead of me, to be honest, I wasn't even running. But very soon I'ma run it. I demand it, man, I want it. Push start, ayy. ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Cause it's fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What about too hard, ayy? What about too hard, ayy? About too hard, ayy. They not gon' like this. Don't like surprises. I cause a crisis. Man, I'm a scientist. With the music, I spice things up to my liking. Man, I want nice things, nice things. That's not an AK, it's a Uzi. I pull up and shoot it to movie. I'm chasing the bag, not a coochie. Cut ties with the fake, now it's Gucci. Word of my nigga from the 021. You count 6 shots and I count 2 guns. Some people still think I rap just for fun, but soon they look up to me just like the sun. Yeah, you can come over here. Swear it's like no career. Swear you got no idea. Soon you'll have no career. Take a good look in the mirror. They need to know that I'm here. Don't you act like it ain't clear. Yeah, push start, ayy. Ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Cause it's fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What about too hard, ayy? What about too hard, ayy? About too hard.
You know I'm a bad little mama. I got moves like Madonna. Don't tell me cause I move when I'm gonna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna. Don't you see I'm a winner, I'm a queen. I cause no scene if you work with me. Don't stop me cause I fight when I wanna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Deuces to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone. 'Cause I'm just like you. We are fearless when we fight and not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Sarah, I hurt myself today trying to make the pain go away. Sarah, I want to fade away, be with the stars in outer space. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my lead for the melancholy. Cody fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah, I lost myself today trying to find ways to make you stay. Sarah, I want to go away, close my eyes, never wake up again. You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's my lead for the melancholy. Cody fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I numb my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah.
Yeah. Black sheep, black sheep, black sheep, black sheep. I don't even write no more, man.
Tell him, yo,
God.
can't you come over?
I'm on my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. There's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No, think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Lose it. Get substituted. You're not recruited. Cause you're too damn scared to use it. The truth is, you're useless. What? I'm ruthless. I've proved this. Keep capping, I'ma leave you toothless. What? You're so dumb to choose this. Ain't going outside, I make it work. I'm in my bag, that's every purse on my back. Is that your girl? She got it. She make it twerk. And why you mad? I got here first. You say you rap, you got a verse. I say that's whack, you probably hurt. Back to the lab, you gotta search. On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No, think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it.
Why are these boys so stupid? Counting me out now, I'm counting my money. I'm probably gon' cop me a new wrist. Y'all gon' think I'm a nuisance. New sound, know me, who this? Yep, I made some improvements. Me and the gang been bowling. Your shawty gon' think we're the coolest. Elizay say we got clips. We bout to make it a movie. I make a hit I can't miss. Damn, the charts might sue me. The way I be stacking my chips, probably the bank gon' sue me. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid, cause your mans can't fool me.
On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. Though. Think I might have found my tempo. Posted up in my tempo. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it.
Sitting on a bench, waiting for the time to pass, dreaming of what happens next. I see what I wanna be, questioning my destiny, only knowing what I see. I don't even realize I've already made a path, and I can change it anytime. I can't take it back. I know what I want, but it seems so damn far away. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said then you better use it. Tell yourself day after day it's time to prove it. No days off, keep the hustle moving. Wanna see you be what you wanted to be, prove it. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. Say you wanna be somebody. Say you wanna be somebody. And you say you wanna be somebody. And you say you wanna be somebody.
Never let you double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hearing none of that. souls and I spread good vibes. Young divine, you know I gotta shine. Raise your hands for a good time. Aight.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing summer
1,
to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. Cause you know how we roll.
Let's take it.
Round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. Cause you know like I know.
We'll take it. Yo, hold up, let me switch my flow up. Back in high school, they were telling me I'll blow up. Doing talent shows and man, everyone would show up. Got in an accident and still made it for them to go nuts. You know what? I'm so what? I'm so That means I can't describe the way I vibe, the way I slide in with the rhymes that make the dimes all close their eyes and fantasize. Young divine calling their phone number. No, you know I love you. And you know me, I can't sleep without blazing beats on stages for their ones gracefully. And I got a smile that they hate to see. Young black successful, though life gets stressful. Though life gets stressful, go and vibe out with whoever you next to.
Vibe until the morning, sleep until the noon. You said that you want it, so I got it for you. Let's all get together and show them how we move. We move, we move.
3, 2,
Bringing summer
1,
to
drop.
you.
Oh, ready, let's go. Cause you know how we roll.
Let's take it.
Round the world and back again. Ready, let's go. Cause you know like I know.
We'll take it.
Round and round again.
Elohim, you're home. Can't you come over?
Ayy, I know my way to the paper. All of my women look tailored. It costs a few thousand, it's tailored. Can't drop a dime in the sidewalk. I'm in the room with the bosses. All of our pockets look gorgeous, ayy. You'll see the boys in the Forbes, ayy. Constantly plotting, we want this, ayy. I need my bag and clips extended, ayy. Blast you haters to fragments, ayy. Got no time for the cameras, cause I might just pull the extension, ayy. Young, back to the basics. Get in that bag on occasion. She top it until she get brainless, hey. Damn it, I love to be famous. Ayy, I'm in my bag, I don't have to brag, no. Ayy, she's watching me stack it, so what am I capping for? Ayy, if I spend it all, it's just cause I'm racking more. Ayy, you so 10 in a back, you know I'm not capping, bro. Whoa, moving too fast, you probably thought it's a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, been doing the most. Whoa, moving too fast, yeah, I just hopped in a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, I've been doing the most.
Ayy, I got nothing to lose. I ain't got nothing else to prove. I see they all tryna shoot. Ashamed though, cause I'm bulletproof. Can't touch me, I'm up on the roof. I'm catching bodies, hiding all the proof. I make them disappear like poof. Just like that, you're gone for good. Little baby say she wants the wood. Man, I'm so misunderstood. Done playing games when you want the goods. Really did start from the bottom. Those moments can't be forgotten. And they been trying to see how I got it. Just know it ain't the least I bought it. I bought it.
Ayy, I'm in my bag, I don't have to brag, no. Ayy, she's watching me stack it, so what am I capping for? Ayy, if I spend it all, it's just cause I'm racking more. Ayy, you so 10 in a back, you know I'm not capping, bro. Whoa, moving too fast, you probably thought it's a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, been doing the most. Whoa, moving too fast, yeah, I just hopped in a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, I've been doing the most.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Gaming Malta, Mountain Dew Game Fuel, CS Money, MSI, GGBet, and ESEA.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond Esports versus BTRG. Long have we waited to get this series underway. It was due to start a lot earlier on, but due to conflicts with other tournaments, we delayed it to allow these guys to get on the server in a time that suited them. BTRG now ready to roll. Beyond also in the game, in the server, and we're looking at Mirage coming in, and then Nuke as the next one. Nuke was picked by Beyond, a bit of a stray away from the train that they chose earlier on, which I guess, Dean, isn't too much of a surprise, considering how they performed there versus Vici.
Yeah, Nuke is also what they chose against Lucid Dream, though, and in that matchup, at least against Lucid Dream, they were able to get the victory 16-10. And the other map that they had in that was Mirage. Mirage actually kicked things off, and that was also where they got another 16-10 victory over Lucid Dream. I do expect more here from BTRG. I think with the way the maps have gone, we certainly could have a competitive one coming our way. I hope we see more from Beyond than we did in that last matchup against Vici this morning. As they creep all the way through underpass. 3 players just crouch walking, I believe. Now beginning to move forward, and would have been a 4-man B stack with only one around that CT spawn and then one who can quickly spot from short as well. It is mostly just going to have to be that retake. As I said, I thought the kills just all go in favor of the CT side. A single return so far. And Zion will be able to find that headshot in towards the spawn as well, but getting this bomb planted is not going to be an easy task. Already SDK moving in from that spawn side. He's not able to get the kill, nor stop the bomb plant. Eventually will get one. But it's IR who's left in the 1-on-2. Not a terrible spot considering how this had initially kicked off for them. Up close on the Glock, got the dink, but it's not enough. Olivia is going to be able to finish that one off with plenty of time for the defuse, of course. I think there's a kit line around as well they can, of course, recover.
Yeah, we got a nice clean defuse for Beyond. Now for BTRG getting in the bomb plant, it will be a buy-up in the next round. I'm not sure where I sit in this one, to be honest, Dean. I mean, at face value, it's hard to really predict how things are going to go. Beyond have been so inconsistent. They put up a good fight versus Vici the first time around, but then in the series that we just saw earlier on this morning, it was pretty rough. Really tough game for them. I really don't know. I don't know. How are you feeling coming into this? Do you feel like Beyond, with the time that they've had to settle down, to evaluate the mistakes earlier, will be able to come in here and show us their full force? Or is this BTRG just in for an easy 2-0?
Personally, I haven't seen enough of this lineup, but all of the players in BTRG I am familiar with, and I know they're all very capable. So that certainly worries me about the firepower that they're going to have in comparison to Beyond. But we know Beyond they're capable as well. They did have, of course, in that matchup against Lucid Dream, most of their players stepping up. They fell a bit flat earlier against Vici, but that can change from even hour to hour. As right now, it's going well for Beyond. They got a little bit too close for their liking as the bomb was nearly planted, but not allowed. Mayrolls is able to stop it. He upgrades up to a Galil only, unfortunately, but it is still better than the SMG, especially considering now they're up against the Eco. I guess it would have been nice to have the MP7 still for a bit of extra money, but I don't think he's too worried. Ensuring that they have the rifle for the first gun round is usually a bit more secure. But yeah, Excurate especially is a fantastic player. Genius, of course. Playing against some of his brethren here, playing against some other Thai players. Zion, South Korean, I believe, isn't he? Yeah, he is indeed. He played for the MVP lineup for a while. So all of these players I am familiar with, which I guess is something for most of the other teams that we weren't really able to say. It was normally, okay, yeah, we recognize a couple of these players. We've seen them about. But for BTRG, at least, most of those players I know are capable individually. So I'm excited to see how it goes once they get actual weapons, because on these Ecos, at least so far, not going too well.
It absolutely isn't. They've lost every single duel they entered into, and Excurate is a good player. I want to take that away from him. I think it will be hard to underestimate him at this point.
Oh, there's one. I'm really surprised Olivia didn't see him.
Well, I guess he gets away with something, but the reality is, Beyond surviving on 4 players, it's more than enough to carry their momentum forward. Olivia probably going to take the AWP at this stage as well. Either way, it'll be a nice, look at that, symmetrical buy. Everything's beautiful. Now,
the nades always running.
And the nades would be perfect. Would that STK had a USP? It would look, even down to kits, it would be perfect. Why have you done this, STK? Come on, dude. It'd be worth
cry.
paying. Just pay for the USP at this point. Come on.
Downgrade for the sake of luck.
Exactly. All jokes aside, though, BTRG need this round. They want to get back in here and show Beyond this isn't going to be an easy series. As I said, Beyond have been inconsistent, but that doesn't mean they're not a threat in this map. They had a loss earlier on. That will have crushed them, and now they'll be focused on staying in this tournament. Really, it's crunch time, right? It's no longer about having an easier road forward or any of that. Now, whether you stay in here or not.
Yeah, especially with this being the choice of BTRG, if Beyond can keep up this pace by picking up the first gun round especially, then you certainly do have to be a little bit worried. Beyond having a few hours to kind of look over what went wrong in their previous matchup and try and make some improvements on it. BTRG, they have that mid control. A minute remaining, they actually just want to go straight up towards that B bomb site, splitting in through short in the apartments. A little bit disjointed on the push, so SDK was able to find one without really being contested for at least a few seconds. Olivia then's able to pick off 2 from the bomb site, and as you see now, Impression and I are left on opposite sides of the map with not much to be done. As I say, that Impression, he does make me reconsider, because he now has just one player trapped in on the bomb site. The issue is he's not able to deal with that before QQ can rotate in, so now there is a second player here to cover.
Oh, the sneaky play. Right up behind Impression's got the chance to step! And the shot from Olivia doesn't connect, despite what we saw earlier on. Some really nice hits. And look, 4 kills, it's decent for BTRG, but they need to follow up in this round and do some damage. In fact, they could go in for a full investment if they want, but that would push them down to a much faster play. Unless they go for Galils to get the utility out, but at that point, you're probably even looking better just taking pistols and armor and going into the next. With a really convincing full buy, and it looks like that's the choice they've made. Utility can be bought up, but they decide to go quite light on it, focusing in towards armor, head armor. Honestly, in this situation, I feel like the armor is going to do less for you than if every player has smokes and flashes and you make a much more, for example, a quick play towards the B site. You maybe get a bomb plant. You have to understand that in the majority of these rounds, you're not playing for the win. You'll take it if it comes your way, if the opportunity presents itself, but a vast majority of the time you are going to lose this round, and it's about future-proofing, getting the best you can out of your next round buy, and making sure that Beyond don't build up cash. Those are, if you aim for that every single time and have a strategy to get there, you know, we see some teams having some really well thought out horse buy rounds, and if you can do that on a consistent basis, if you can work on getting better at that, you'll minimize the amount of times your opponents can get a full buyout. You'll win the economy game, and that makes it much easier then when it comes down to winning maps in general.
Yeah, I guess they didn't want to attempt a quick B execute in the beginning just because they knew they'd be up against nades and such, so taking it slower, having a few nades here to eventually bring it on towards A. And with it only being KNTZ on the bomb site, if they get that kill, then there definitely is a chance for the bomb plant. The issue is now the flank is beginning to come in, so they have to be so quickly if they want a chance of actually getting that down. But look at it. Genius, he just ran up in towards the smoke. He's actually able to get the bomb planted. Highly unlikely he's able to find anything else from this, just being trapped in behind triple. That's a little bit more than you really could have been expecting. They invested quite a bit, so I don't think it's something they're going to be super happy with, but they at least make back most of the money that they did invest, and obviously with the full loss bonus, now they still have that full-on gun round. A bit of damage really would have helped, though. Beyond hadn't really built up too much money beforehand, having only survived with 3 in the first gun round, and 1 in the round following it. So being able to actually live with 5 there really helps them out now, especially. But the gun round's coming back into play. BTRG, they have everything they could ask for, apart from the op on the X-Cura, which he just doesn't seem to want, because he did have the money.
And the T side, I guess you get a little bit more versatility when it comes into these late round pushes when you've got a Krieg in play. BTRG going in for bottom mid control. Really well placed nade. Keeps the terrorists back for just a minute or two. Well, really a second or two. But ultimately, slowing down the pace of their push in towards middle. That smoke's going to fade sooner. They come on through, and QQ, getting himself a double, swaps over to the AK. The Molotov of Olivia with another down below. And this is an absolutely devastating round for BTRG. They came in hoping for mid control, and instead, they got absolutely slapped out. Their money in the bin, and for the T side, they are about to concede a 6th round over to Beyond.
Yeah, no success at all. This is crazy. The bomb obviously being lost on mid leaves no hope really for Zion to be able to recover that, with SDK even still pushed all the way up at the moment. So that info will be found early if he does try and work in from mid, and that's even if he's able to survive this first exchange, of course, as SDK, I was going to say, was ready for it, but he had to flick up a little bit, so doesn't quite manage to get the kill. Instead, just does the damage. Down to 24 health, there really is no hope. Is he going to save? I mean, look at the amount of nades he has. He also has 1750 in the reserve, so it wouldn't be too bad of an idea to carry it over. His teammates can all buy with the loss bonus, but I don't think it's going to be an option. He's been hunted down right now. Eventually will be spotted by Mayrolls after the player from Apartments started to run out a little bit, trying to see if they could actually bait him. And it worked pretty well. 6-0 beyond. They look fantastic. That kind of like, what was it, like a 5-hour break they had between series? It definitely seems to have helped them.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can go back and look at exactly what went wrong and figure out how to fix it over those 5 hours or 4 or 5 hours that they had as a break to chill
Stops
out.
have been called. Ping issue.
I also believe BTRG were in, they were playing another game, right? And whilst I didn't see it on HLTV, there's a decent chance that obviously regionally they might know where to find it. And if that's the case, Beyond will have had time, or even if they didn't, right? BTRG have already played a couple games in this tournament, in this qualifier series, and recently. So that gives Beyond the time that they know they're going to play BTRG. They've got a couple hours to spare. They can go and actually look at how BTRG play on maps that they're likely to come up against them on, while BTRG don't have that luxury because they've got to play another series during that time. So they can't really focus up for this particular matchup.
Just checking there, we were told it will be medicked fairly soon, I imagine. Yeah, Zion was on 100 ping, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But yeah, as you said, you would hope that Beyond went ahead and took a little bit of time to look over to look over some of the previous matches from BTRG, or if they could find the one they were currently playing, just because they had so many hours. They obviously know how much is on the line here in this game, being in the elimination matches already. They definitely should be putting their full into it. Hopefully we're not going to be waiting too long for this to be resolved. You don't want either team really sitting around, especially in the case of Beyond, when you're winning nice and firmly. You don't want that momentum to be getting broken by a long pause, especially when it's just an annoying one that's caused by an unfortunate ping spike. Zion's ping is back to normal though, so that's a good sign. He went from 45 up to 100 for a moment. I don't even think he had to reconnect or anything. I think it just went down on its own in the end. But yeah, the restore is being asked for at the moment, so I wouldn't imagine it'll take too much longer.
Yeah, it looks like it's being match medicked in just a second, so won't be the end of the world. But it is an interesting point though about the whole like Beyond situation. Like when these kind of delays happen, and obviously it was BTRG that needed the pause in between the games. But when these kind of things happen, I always wonder how the teams approach it. I feel like at a very minimum, you need to have your coach and you need to have your IGL watching those games, right? Maybe some of the other players can get away without it. I personally would prefer everyone watches it, especially just to see like if you generally lurk outside B when your team's taking A. You know,
pushing it a lot.
You'll have a good feeling of but let's say 70% of the time I'm lurking outside B. Well, how do they play B? Do they push it, like you're saying? Do they flash it? Do they, like, when they throw this flash, what does that mean? You've got a great opportunity there to know everything about how they play. Because what we talk about on the T side a lot of the time, Dean, is that, you've got to figure out exactly how to get into the game. The first couple rounds are like you're testing the water. You're going towards A, you're figuring out, okay, when they throw this smoke, this is what's happening. This flash, that's what's happening. You start to figure out their tendencies. So when you do that preparation before you come into the game, you can obviously have a much better side because you already know, oh, here's that smoke, and this means they're probably doing this. It brings a lot of value to the game.
And they do have a coach in. They have OB there in the coach slot, as we see. So you would imagine that definitely, at least some preparation was done coming into this matchup. And I mean, with the performance so well, you probably would presume that's the case. But who knows? They're definitely looking better than they were in that previous game. Can they keep it up now? The pause, of course, being removed. The ping for Zion is back to normal. And BTRG are looking to finally get around on the board. They don't want to let Beyond keep on running away with this scoreline and go up 7, maybe 8-0 off the back of this gun round if they get it. So it is a necessity. one thing they haven't been doing is challenging mid all that aggressively. They've been allowing the T's to actually get out and get up close around connector and short and such, and this time, unfortunately, it will be traded out 1-for-1, so not ideal around connector. The split is being set up now for this A bomb site. As you can see, there is a player up close on Palace. Trades coming back and forth. My auto-director eventually brings me towards the action as we see Excura stuck on the stairs. The bomb, of course, was dropped for a moment. That ramp is only now being retrieved, but they do have control of connector, so in theory, they can get that bomb planted securely. But they're not going to immediately. Instead, tapping the bomb and looking to try and drop this down to the 2v1, hoping a mistake will be made by one of these Beyond players beforehand. Eventually, though, realizing they need to stick it.
The jump, that's going to be heard.
Oh, yeah, he's
Olivia
heard it.
knows
Full focus.
Exactly what's going on. And there's the shot connecting it. May rolls up above with the headshot. And that is 7-0. Beyond absolutely annihilating BTRG at this point. Like a little bit of time they will have had to talk during that technical pause there. Unfortunately, not able to figure out a strategy that works. The 2v2 go in the way of Beyond puts them in a spot where really BTRG need to win this next round. Well, provided they buy up. I think they should be. And at that point, there's a lot of pressure on them. And the timeout even comes through here for BTRG, further stressing how important this one is. You can have full utility. An AWP, though, isn't going to come easily. They can have it, but it will come at a cost of Zine not having any armor. I don't think that's something they're going to want. So more than likely, again, we're rocking in with just the rifles. Utility to work with, and that so far hasn't seen a lot of success.
Yeah, they could be considering that up, but yeah, as you said, not needing it necessarily on the T side. It's not like that's been the issue either, has it? Because they've been getting that mid control at least a couple of rounds. They've been able to find it pretty much uncontested. They just try and then move really quickly with it up through connector or short. The previous time we seen them go, of course, for that B split, and unfortunately walked into a 3-man stack around the bomb site without really having forced any utility and such out. So I feel like they could probably try and slow things down a bit more once they do actually find this mid control, which again they are heading towards, with only one player around connector who probably isn't going to be challenging. SDK then over on short as well, who isn't going to be peeking out too aggressively, you wouldn't imagine. But BTRG themselves maybe expecting a bit of a push to come through from Beyond, which it is, just not on mid. KNTZ has pushed all the way through ramp and gotten himself quite a lot of info with this.
There we go. KNTZ finds the opening eventually on that push, and we go into a man advantage yet again. A wild peek by QQ, but he gets out of there unpunished. And BTRG, they've been given the opportunities. They were even watching for the flank, slow pushing back to T-spawn, but couldn't deal with him. Impression, holding it down and waiting for a mistake to be made here by Olivia. You can see him on the angle, but that opera of Olivia is content to hold the pixel and just wait for them to make a move. The CTs with the man advantage are under zero pressure to make a mistake. And so BTRG look in towards the A side for a little bit of a fake. Eeyore's going to have to do a lot here, or he's going to be just like his buddy over in, was it Winnie the Pooh? Be all sad. But luckily, he's able to find the kill. And with that, they rush out to the B side a little bit early, though, showing their cards. As Olivia is able to just frag one after another with the op. And BTRG, oh, they've got to be scratching their heads now. Bringing it through underpass, but running. SDK knows what's going on. That bomb, not long for this world. Oh, this is a disaster of a round. That was so sloppy for BTRG. Like, Eeyore's kind of selling a fake by coming out con. He also still had a bit of utility left. If he lobs that and starts pushing the A site, or just goes back to regroup with B, but it seems like they went right in the middle. Like, as soon as he got the kill.
Might go down after time.
Oh my god.
So close. He was like, I don't know, probably 10 health or something. They're getting shot in the shoulder as the round ended. 8-0. Beyond are already halfway to the finish line, man. This has been not nearly as eventful or competitive as I was expecting it to be. And let's come back to it. You come back to the fact that this is, I believe, the map choice of BTRG. I've got to double check yet again because of how one-sided it's been. I'm doubting myself. But yeah, I'm correct. Beyond, of course, we already mentioned it. They did pick Nuke, which is theirs coming up after this, and then have needed Inferno as the decider. But BTRG, they're in trouble if they aren't able to show anything here on Mirage. They'll have to head on to Nuke then, where Beyond overall have been looking pretty good, been able to take down, of course, Lucid Dream in the matchup we've seen them on, and then statistically before that in the matches they had as well, they had some pretty good results. Just barely losing to Vici, for example, 16-14. That was only like a week and a half ago. So certainly a map they're pretty strong on. half investment as well, not the full buy this time from BTRG. So likely 9-0.
Well, we'll see how that one develops. BTRG are on their way towards a much faster strategy than what we've seen in most of the rounds so far. Looking to pressure into that A-bomb site. You've got KNTZ under wood, and STK and QQ holding from further back. I mean, this is the ideal setup. They're also past the smokes that are being thrown, so they will be involved in this fight. The flashbang comes over to try and remove them. Lots of damage done. QQ and STK very low. Zine able to grab one. STK traded out immediately, and BTRG coming ahead. Lots of rifles to be picked up here by the T's as well. And Olivia, oh, so clean on those shots. Pulls it back into a 2 versus 2. Huge pressure. If Mayrolls falls, this round could well be over already. This is the M4 that he's facing off against as well. And Zine wins yet another duel for a 4K. Flashes over for Excurit's peak. Olivia's been blind for about 10 minutes now. And as he makes his way towards that site, suspects Excurit to be on default, evidently. You can see by the body language checking it, the no-scope connects. And the smoke down. This is going to be a stick. At least that's what he's trying to tell them. But goes up above the smoke, waits for an angle, but only catches a tag. Now going for the defuse, and the shot straight through the smoke to take him down. And 8-1 we go. BTRG on the weak buy. We said it looked like the best setup and a faster, more different setup than what we'd seen so far. And indeed, it was the best setup.
Well, apparently, at least that one worked for them. I don't know necessarily if you could say that, though, because it was still an ace that was needed from Zine in the end for them to pick it up. Going huge with the Mac-10, and then, of course, with the retrieved M4 as well. Getting all 5 kills, doing it all for BTRG. Finally giving them a round on the board. Can they get more off the back of this? Can they keep it up now, or is it going to be returned by Beyond quickly? Probably not here in terms of the first frag anyway, because Olivia's in trouble. He did jump out window, ends up getting tagged up heavily, burns a little bit in the Molotov as well, which forces him back up through the apartments. But fortunately, there's no one from BTRG. Unfortunately, that's because they're all moving on towards the A-bomb site at the moment. And with Beyond having pushed into ramp as well as soon as they lost mid-control, they really aren't set up to do much about that bomb going down. It might not be expected, though. BTRG might be thinking, okay, perhaps it was a B stack. But at least being cautious of Palace. With that, you would imagine as well, having a little glance over towards ramp and just keeping an eye on if those players are going to be moving in from that direction. At this point, though, honestly, Beyond should probably just be saving. They don't have that great of an economy, and saving those weapons would give them a buy. That'd still be the case now, I believe, if these 3 live. Oh, that's the op.
At least another rifle to be recovered. But look at KNTZ. How does he get out of here? Players on either side of him sprayed through this smoke. Gonna get up aggressive on ramp. He might actually be able to drop these guys. They're gonna be relatively low afterwards. Just hiding in the smoke actually to save it through. Goes out eventually. Although a second too late. And the timing a little bit off on that one. Had he fallen, he'd look like a right goose, but luckily it's worked out. And is that a double up setup for the T side carried over? Interesting. See that brought through, and the T side are at least coming back into this game. Like they were flat, a couple close rounds, but really when you're 8-0 down, you've got to step it up. It's go time, and luckily, stepping it up is exactly what BTRG have been able to do.
Yeah, if they can pull it back up to 6th, then at that point they're feeling pretty good. As you said, though, a double up setup here on the T side is an interesting choice. Once they have to push in towards a bomb site, that potentially could backfire, so we'll have to see how it works out for them. Both very capable uppers, though, so I don't think you're going to be worried about that aspect of it. More so just if the time starts to become a bit of an issue, it can be quite limiting as you do actually go forward. But a much slower round from BTRG. I'm not going to be going for any quick A plays. I'm not even going for the mid-control, at least not initially. They've still plenty of time, 1 minute and 10 seconds, so they can eventually, considering they also do have full nades still. They haven't invested anything at all. Perhaps just expecting Beyond to get aggressive and wanting both of those ops to have an opportunity to maybe pick up opponents. That was a really slow reaction from Genius. The shoulder was out for a good, like, maybe 2 seconds. I'm not sure what was going on, but he gets the kill.
I'm guessing he was waiting for the head to show. Because if he shoots the shoulder, maybe the player gets around the corner or something like that. But
it looked like maybe he was just chatting for a second with his teammates. Something was like, oh, player.
Luckily, he didn't
only
get,
because I do that sometimes. Yeah, thankfully. I was more confused about QQ as well, just kind of stopping halfway into the angle peak. being so up close to the wall as well that his shoulder is going to be shown obviously before he can see what's going on the other side of it. So it was interesting. Shot not being connected on design either as he crosses over to the other end of the palace. Ends up finding the kill in towards jungle and now giving them the room to move forward out of ramp and not have to worry about that angle, at least for a few seconds, because the op has been retrieved. One player makes it across to the bomb site while Mayrolls is focused on Palace, but it pays off for him. Zion falls, as does Ior, and suddenly Beyond have themselves the man advantage.
Mayrolls posted up as well, looking right in towards Sandwich, and he takes Genius for a snack. Excurate's the last alive, sees a player in spawn. The double peek wasn't there though. Mayrolls went in alone and able to isolate the fights one at a time. Excurate in a 1v1 now, looking for his third kill of the round. Can't quite get it just yet. On to 9 HP. The molly goes down, and so too does Excurate. KNTZ able to grab the op, and the time, it's gonna be tight. But I think he's just about got it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. I think that Molotov might have actually ticked his feet once and forced them out because I seen he was like flashing red while he was taking the peek in towards KNTZ. But yeah, Beyond they're able to make it work in the end. Trading out effectively, an incredible attempt there from Excurate being able to find the first 2 kills. Unfortunately, he does fall short in the one-on-one. 2 rounds. Obviously, they're going to need to add at least 2 more to this to have even a half that is recoverable. That is somewhat respectable. So they need to keep this going, but it's not over for them yet. They don't have to be too worried about losing that one. If they can bounce straight back, of course, the economy of the CT side would be struggling. But there's the damage. It goes in favor of the CTs. Olivia going to be able to tag down Excurate already as they peek in towards middle. And considering how much impact he had there in that previous round, it's a pretty big player to be able to tag up so much early on. Limiting what the op can do.
Oh, QQ went past the smoke.
The bomb.
Again, one at a time going out. Been an issue for both of these teams, but with the bomb dropped in connector, Beyond with all the control, well, they had for a second. Zion, how is he able to get this much access? One by one they fall in towards the site. The worst timing I've ever seen in my life for KNTZ. Olivia suffered from it in one of the previous rounds. Luckily, he manages to recover, and the round does still go their way with 2 losses. Both attributed to Sign on that mid push, which was pretty incredible, to be honest, that he got into window, managed to find both of those frags before eventually being dealt with, and even then very nearly had KNTZ. At that point, the round may well have been theirs. But
yeah, he'd actually been boosted in before they even lost the bomb. The player who first peaked at connector was the one who boosted him up. I think there was a smoke down, so he wasn't able to do anything for a while. So perhaps that's what they should have waited for, maybe for that smoke to begin to fade away a little bit. But I guess the goal was get up close and connector before it fades away so that they can be ready to move forward. And unfortunately, just didn't expect QQ to go forward of the top connector smoke that they had down. But he did, and it worked for him. Look at this, back to the quick A play. This worked out for them earlier on when they had a slightly weaker investment. This time having actually 3 AKs, a Galil, and the Mac 10, so it's not a bad investment at all. Definitely is still some hope here, especially as KNTZ was left alone around the spawn, so it is just the retake setup at the moment, meaning the bomb is, of course, going to be planted, as you see. Hector had actually gone forward, looking to delay rotations through jungle. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for him.
No, it doesn't, and that push doesn't work either for Eeyore. He only gets the 1 before falling. Luckily, though, Impression's able to pull it back for the most part. Olivia on 19 health, holding down with the op, but they've got to make a move. Time is low. Genius able to swing through, and the distraction he causes by finding the first kill opens up the room for Zion to go on through. Olivia saving that op after being lit up towards CT, and a failed retake for Beyond leaves BTRG up to 3 as the bomb explodes. Looks like Olivia should be fairly safe in towards the van. But even carrying that op forward doesn't help them a whole bunch. They are going to be struggling for economy coming into this. But having saved the op, it's a hard choice to make to take an eco here. It looks like they're making it, though. A very weak buy all round.
Yeah, they only get 1900, so sadly for Olivia, having saved it won't be enough, and Mayrolls is going to be a bit low as well, having the CZ in play. So it's not going to be ideal. So it actually is a really good opportunity right now for BTRG to try and pull this back up to 5. Obviously, the op in play here could certainly do some damage, but a quick B play, they're only going to be going up against pistols for now. I say only, but the CZ's still able to do some damage, and STK hiding up close. Oh, gets hit with a Molotov. They know he's there now, 100%. But the op above the smoke, able to spot one. Zion looking to push up through it, potentially. I think has been spotted. He definitely is as it fades away. potentially a follow-up. He's just been given so much time to line up these op shots. It's all on IR suddenly, a 1-on-3 to save this round. And with that, potentially the half.
Oh, the tag goes through the wall and QQ finishes him off. Eeyore understandably going to be upset. Maybe that's the whole backstory for Winnie the Pooh. He's a sad donkey because he lost the 1v3. Sounds like I've just called the player a donkey now, but you know, it is how it is.
Bit mean.
Well, he did name himself Eeyore at the end of the day. What can I do? Eeyore.
I wonder if that's what he was going for.
Yeah, I don't think so. Well, maybe. You never know. He could be a big fan. Actually, he was the only character I didn't know the name of. I used to watch Winnie the Pooh avidly. I had no clue. I just didn't like him.
You look like a big Winnie the Pooh fan.
I thought you were just going to say I looked like a big Winnie the Pooh, in which case, still accurate.
Yeah, this is a little bit unfortunate. They still have a relatively okay buy. They even have the op for accurate, but lacking the weapons on two players, including Zion, who's been having so much impact, so I wouldn't have minded if he had one of those AKs in play.
Yeah, this is one thing that we talked about before, though, right? The fact that sometimes teams will be like, well, I've got the money, so I'm going to buy. But it's like, you've also got 4 kills, and your teammate is 15. So, give him the AK. I don't know, I feel like that's definitely something. Obviously, you want to still have the confidence that you're going to play your game, but you have to recognize when it's just not your day. And when it is your teammate's day, when he's crispy hitting his shots. Something you see at this level quite a bit. But look, it's not like BTRG are incapable. They've definitely got the short straw so far, but Eeyore coming through with a double opening, almost the triple. The QQ catches the shots a little bit quicker. Olivia, oh, the first flick. I think he's missed all game, but he goes in for the bomb planter, catches it in time, forcing a little bit of pressure onto the player on the site. Molly in the back, swing through. Didn't expect Sign to be that wide, but it doesn't matter. Olivia's too damn
he's given so much time to line up every shot, man.
Yeah, I don't know how he got away with that.
What the hell?
That was
the
madness.
body at top connector blocking it completely from the other perspective?
I think it might have looked like it was the head of the body in connector, sort of like
maybe
sitting up. But look, that's the end of the half. We've got to throw things over to a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to find out how the second half goes. We'll keep you in suspense because it's anyone's game.
Yeah. Ay, push start, ayy. Ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Cause it's fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. About too hard, yeah. I'm killing your favorite rapper with minimum effort. Yeah, your corpse getting severed. The industry dry as a desert. Do whatever it is that you think that you're doing, I'm doing it better. Straight double use, that's my letter. Don't got no snakes, only ladders, ayy. They tryna figure out what's on our plate. Infinity sideways, we already ate. Skipping is basic, skipping is classic. Stay out of trouble, now I can relate. Nevertheless, again, I'm doing great. I just finesse this thing, ain't no debate. You ain't my dog, you ain't my family, and sure as hell, you're not my mate. Yeah, I take my place at the summit. I can't wait till we counting them hundreds. I cannot lie, I ain't rich, yeah, but when I say my time coming, it's coming. And some of y'all got ahead of me, to be honest, I wasn't even running. But very soon I'ma run it. I demand it, man, I want it. Push start, ayy. Ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. This is fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What about too hard? Ayy, what about too hard?
And welcome back, everybody. Beyond Esports versus BTRG. We're going into half number 2. 12 rounds on the board for Beyond. They've been looking insane across that CT side. They gave BTRG a little bit of a streak of a few rounds and then just snatched it right back out of their hands. Now moving into the pistol, this is more important than ever. If BTRG lose this, the game may well be over, Dean.
Yeah, certainly could be. I mean, at least you'd be looking at a 14-3 scoreline unless BTRG are able to win out a force buy. If they are looking to take the eco, indeed, they would have to give it up to that point, and it's not a bad start. I mean, despite the bomb going down, they are at least able to find that initial kill as the teams attempt the CT aggression, wanting to be able to get themselves set up for a stronger afterplant, but it does actually backfire just because of the fact that so many BTRG players were in towards that position. So the man advantage is being flipped around. The P250 long range still going to be effective, though, continuing to take this fight and actually really delaying those players around the spawn. Obviously, one player now moving in from the Palace position, being Zion, but he gets spotted. And with the Glock spam coming in through the smoke from Olivia, that defuse is not going to be allowed. 13-3 Beyond. They managed to do it. They pulled the pistol round in their favor, and with that, potentially the map, they actually call in a pause of their own. I figured it would have been BTRG coming in with a pause at this point. Sorry, I have hiccups. Bad timing.
All good, all good. It happens. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, right? You win the pistol, immediately come in with a timeout. I don't know what they're discussing exactly, but I'm sure there's some reason behind it. You can see the buy is actually fairly decent. They've gone in for 4 rifles in the end. I like that. Keeping everything nice and stable. We saw... It was them that bought 5 SMGs, right?
5, damn. Yeah, I believe so in that previous game on Inferno, on their CT side.
Versus Vici. Yeah, that was a bit wild. But that's Inferno, right? It plays out very differently CT side. You can use close range weapons. They couldn't, but, you know, in theory you can.
Yeah, I mean, this is a much safer buy. Especially on the T side, you really don't want too many SMGs. At most, you usually see a couple of Mac 10s, which can be used once you are pushing them towards one of the bomb sites. Normally, though, you want at least a few rifles so that you can challenge for this mid-control. Get the options opened up across the map and ensure that you're not going to be just running into stacks and such. But they're taking their time right now, expecting this force buy to be coming in from BTRG and perhaps expecting them to try and get a little bit more aggressive with it around top mid, but not the case for now. Instead, a couple players stacked up around window, 2 of them pushed up on ramp in an aggressive position where they can get info and potentially a few kills with that kind of bait and switch setup. For now, though, Beyond with 3 players pushed out on mid and 2 over towards the apartments. B looks most likely, but there's still quite a bit of time. But considering they have no presence around that A side of the map, it really does limit them unless they start moving back now for it. So yeah, B seems to be the goal.
Yeah, definitely looking to move in towards that B bomb site. BTRG don't have any quick rotates either. You can see the position for Impression and Execute is over towards window, but it's going to cost them a while. Eeyore needs to do a lot of work to hold this one down. The nade is well placed and does nearly 50 damage to him as the SMG rolls out first. Olivia through the smoke to Execute just as it bloomed. He started shooting. Eeyore looks to hold it off well, but he can't do it, unfortunately. This round should go by the wayside, as Zion is the only one alive. 1v4 coming up behind, but that flank is only really effective if there's still players around kitchen to cause some harassment. Unfortunately, they all dead.
Very dead.
Is there a difference? Very dead? Can you be kind of dead?
I don't know. If your heart
dead,
stops
but he's only a
beating
little
and they
bit.
resuscitate you, would that be kind of dead?
I think it's temporarily dead.
Just like, dude, he was kind of dead.
He's kind of dead.
He can't show up to work tomorrow. He's kind of dead.
I think he could show up to work.
Well, I don't know if you don't want to. I feel like your heart having stopped within the last 24 hours would probably be one of the best reasons.
Excuses you, I guess. Yeah. Get a day or two off.
But yeah, BTRG straight in with the force again. It's slightly better than what they had in that previous round, but it's not fantastic. And again, this is the map choice of BTRG. This is just not the performance that we were expecting of them, and I doubt it was the performance they were expecting of themselves. Certainly fallen short of that, but as we see them going aggressive this time around mid, there is only one player holding for it. And with the frag being found, the Galil being upgraded, the A push in the meantime is about to begin to commence, but they have been kind of slowed down around that ramp area. So it's given quite a bit of time for BTRG to react, and with that, set themselves up now.
They haven't really done a whole bunch, though. You can see still sitting in with 2 players towards this site. Their top mid control is what this is centered around. And might... Oh my god, it doesn't even catch KNDZ off. He's able to go through and win the opening there. Looks to short for more. Gets shut down. The rest of the players are already pushing out on that bomb site. Olivia takes down Impression and now can get the bomb planted. It was a risky peek with bomb in hand. And in fact, he is very open while planting it, but covered by QQ from above. Looks for Sign. Catches him. Eeyore's coming around the corner in just a second. And I think he'll know now that QQ's down below. A peek through the spawn has to come through. And QQ wins the fight, understandably against the UMP, but now there's lots of work to do. That nade, 72, so not one hit with the scout necessarily. You can hit for 71. As Execute crosses over, though, it doesn't look like he'll even get a chance to see QQ. May rolls on the hold, and 15 rounds.
The nade. It ended up hitting the front side of default box and just bouncing to where the actual bomb was itself. A little bit unfortunate.
Okay.
Either way, as you said, though, the player posted up from Tetris had that angle held, and with him hitting this shot, it wouldn't have really mattered too much. 15-3, that round obviously was a necessary win for BTRG, as they have the best of their force buys so far, but that's not saying too much. A scout, a couple of FAMASs, a couple MP9s, no kit, few nades. It is not looking too good in terms of really anything right now for BTRG, so this should be map number 1 over and done with of course Nuke to follow being the choice of Beyond. Zion again getting aggressive in towards Palace this time. It's an AK that they're actually able to steal away. It was Genius, I believe, in the previous round who went aggressive up mid and stole away Galil in the beginning. But that's an even better recovery.
Now with the upgraded weapon, the man advantage, not traded back. Exactly how BTRG need to be starting these rounds if they want any chance of bringing this to an overtime. 12 rounds in a row. That's a damn big task. The CT side, maybe they've got their foothold. If Beyond can do it, well, who knows? They're looking to go towards this A side, and this is the worst decision they could make. There's no way for them to know that, but with the position posted up for Zine, which I'm surprised about, because he's got 50 HP with an AK. I'd rather him go back and even trade that weapon out. He could play much more passive, but sticking with it, or not even necessarily trade the weapon, but trade positions. If he's playing in CT, he'll stand a much better chance doing some damage where he's got covered up play behind. They're coming to Palace as well. 3-4 players coming around that corner. He catches them off, but misses the shots. Wide swings as well. And look at the damage done.
Just finding that info so early on, it lets them begin the rotation in with the other players over from B, and even then not being needed all that much because it's just going to be held by the Scout of Excura and then Genius from the stairs on the FAMAS. They combine to finally give us another round for BTRG. A 4th on the board, but 11 more to go, Mitch. It is so much that they still need before this becomes a comeback. And not only that, but this is still just the first map. So potentially a lot of CS ahead of these boys if they want to actually try and make the comeback happen here on Mirage. This round, you would imagine, will be a little bit easier, but there is 2 players who've completely invested for Beyond, so that's an interesting choice. Olivier was spent 1700, so we would have had 2150 beforehand. So in theory, didn't need the force buy, could have got the buy in the following round. And then 2150 being spent by, 2200 then being spent by SDK. So he had 2250. So yeah, this is strange. If those 2 players just didn't buy anything, they would have had enough to get the full investment in the following round with everyone else.
It's a super aggressive decision, and I don't really see the benefit to it. In terms of what they're investing, I don't think it matches up. Obviously, there's a benefit to having armor and a deagle. But is it worth it? That's the question that Beyond have to answer. Having lost the man advantage, they pull it back. Oh, great peek coming in over towards short though. Putting KNTZ all by himself after shutting down connector. BTRG lose 2 players. Beyond can get 1 more in there. They could actually put BTRG in a position where they struggle to buy up, like they're on the very edge of their economy. 2 kills and you'll even see weaker weapons. But that's a big task for KNTZ to deliver. And as he drops down, he actually gets Eeyore. The damage isn't going to be sustained in this round, but if they can then come in, lose the next, but find, you know, 4 kills, which is a big ask, but be in a pretty decent spot. That's 15-5 though. And it looks like we're entering a technical pause here, Dean. It's about 3 minutes long from what I see, and then they should be back on the server. One of the guys is disconnected on BTRG.
Not sure who. They aren't gone as of yet. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, they are gone now. Who are we missing? I'm always terrible with this.
You've thrown yourself under the bus here?
I've thrown myself under the bus. Even when I know full lineups, I just always... Oh, it's Eeyore, yes.
Eeyore.
That's who it is. Eeyore. How can I forget that? It's the one you were talking about.
One of those things though, I mean...
Winnie the Pooh.
It's like... It's one of those things that, I mean, you know the players, but as soon as you're asked, like, who's missing from this lineup or whatever. Yeah. I remember I did an interview with some of the Finnish guys, and they asked me... I can't even remember the team. It might have been Havu at the time. They asked me who was their secondary opper. And I was like, and I knew it. And I got it eventually. But it just like, because I was put on the spot, I got so nervous about it, you know, when you're faced with the question. It happens.
I got it eventually.
You know when you were in school, right? And they'd be doing like a basic, whatever it was. For me, it was like maths. You're doing some maths questions. And they'd always turn to me and be like, all right, Mitch, what's the answer to that? And I'm like, 5? Like, it would be 200, but I'd be like, 5? Yeah, cool.
Good enough. Close enough.
Yeah, close.
It is a number.
At least halfway there, then.
Just look at this buy from Beyond, though, because of the 2 players buying up in the previous round. It's not terrible, because they've got 3 AKs, but they're limited by those 2 Tech 9s, and considering they have such a lead, they didn't really need to be forcing the issue like they did in the previous. It certainly would have been the better option to just ensure that they could have all the rifles here and some nades behind them. But who knows? They could still certainly find some success with this slightly weaker investment, especially as they look to just bring it straight over towards B. You see Impression pushed up a bit on short. They're going to realize pretty soon there's not much happening on mid. So with that, you would imagine setting themselves up now to go back over towards the bomb sites. And indeed, just as the B hit begins to come in, a molly under the window to stop them from being able to drop out. Instead, funneling them from the balcony and the van. And with that, being able to find at least 1 for Impression. Genius doing the same. But the trades are coming back Beyond. They've managed to bring themselves into the 3-on-1. And of course, knowing where Zine is, they spotted him on short as he tries to swing out. He'll be able to do a small bit of damage, but that is it. 16-5 in the end. It is finished off by Beyond. They don't let too much happen for BTRG. And they steal away their opponent's map choice in a convincing fashion that just really wasn't expected.
Now, most definitely, considering how we saw them play earlier on, Beyond looked like they were going to get stomped out of this series. Where we were coming in looking at their opponents at BTRG, figuring that it would be a pretty competitive series, but probably BTRG taking the mantle. But now, losing Mirage, that puts them in a pretty bad spot. They've had a long day, that's for sure, been playing all day long. And as we said, Beyond had a chance to sit back and analyze exactly how their opponents play these different maps. And coming into their map pick next, the one that Beyond have chosen to play on is Nuke. I fear for BTRG, because I'm guessing over those 5 hours, knowing they would pick Nuke, Beyond came in and studied it. They looked at everything BTRG do on this map and figured out how to play against them. This should be a 2-0 now for Beyond. I'll go out on a whim and say it, but I think considering what we've seen here, Dean, that's not too brave a statement.
No, probably not, because Nuke does seem to be a pretty strong map for Beyond as well. As we said, Mirage and Nuke were the 2 maps we actually seen them getting the victory up against Lucid Dream on the first day. So we know they're maps that they're both able, that they're capable of playing. BTRG though, can they get themselves back into it now mentally after losing such a devastating game there on Mirage is the question. And really, all we can do is wait and see what's going to happen when we head onto that second map.
Well, indeedy. We got to wait and see what happens over on Nuke. For now, we're going to throw things over to a break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes with map number 2, and to find out whether BTRG have the power to bounce back and bring us to a third map, or if they're going to forfeit their running in Pro League quite as convincingly as they did here on Mirage. See you in a few, guys. Stick around for that map.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Charge up your game with excitement. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
Boys of the Forbes, ayy. Constantly plotting, we want this, ayy. I need my bag and clips extended, ayy. Blast you haters to fragments, ayy. Got no time for the cameras, cause I might just pull the extension, ayy. Young, back to the basics. Get in that bag on occasion. She top it until she get brainless, ayy. Damn it, I love to be famous, ayy. I'm in my bag, I don't have to brag, no, ayy. She's watching me stack as the water, my cap and fold. Ayy, if I spend it all, it's just cause I'm racking mo. Ayy, you so 10 in a back, you know I'm not capping, bro. Whoa, moving too fast, you probably thought it's a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, been doing the most. Whoa, moving too fast, yeah, I just hopped in a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, I've been doing the most.
Ay, I got nothing to lose. I ain't got nothing else to prove. I see they all tryna shoot. Ashamed though, cause I'm bulletproof. Can't touch me, I'm up on the roof. I'm catching bodies, hiding all the proof. I make them disappear like poof. Just like that, you're gone for good. Little baby say she want the wood. Man, I'm so misunderstood. Done playing games, we want the goods. Really did start from the bottom. Those moments can't be forgotten. And they been trying to see how I got it. Just know it ain't the least like body. I bought it.
Ayy, I'm in my bag, I don't have to brag, no. Ayy, she's watching me stack as the water, my cap and fold. Ayy, if I spend it all, it's just cause I'm racking mo. You so 10 in the back, you know I'm not capping, bro. Whoa, moving too fast, you probably thought it's a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, been doing the most. Whoa, moving too fast, yeah, I just hopped in a ghost. Whoa, stack it up, I've been doing the most.
Born like a fire in the eye of a hurricane. Always told, stay in line, be alright, better play it safe. I walk a different path, nothing can hold me back. I've passed the point of no return, something is calling me, it's in the air that I breathe. To life again, dancing with my fear, burning with desire. We gon' take it to the edge and come alive. Go to hell and back just to feel the fire. We gon' turn up in this place and come alive.
Come alive. Fly so high they can't touch us. So top notch, none above us. We done came so far, now we up now. Had a vision, stuck to it, never back down. Never had much, now we own the whole thing. Spread it all around the world, watch it all change. Came alive, now they all see the greatness. Light shine so hard they can't take it.
Dancing with my fear, burning with desire. We gon' take it to the edge and come alive. Go to hell and back just to feel the fire. We gon' turn up in this place and come alive.
Come alive.
I walk a different path, nothing can hold me back. I passed the point of no return, something is calling me, it's in the air that I breathe. Bring me back to life again, dancing with my fear, burning with desire. We gon' take it to the edge and come alive. Go to hell and back just to feel the fire. We gon' turn up in this place and come alive.
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. Is it such a ghostly revelation? I may have fucked up all my chances.
And we ain't sleeping on the floor again. We never sleeping on the floor again. For the ones who didn't make it out, for the ones that didn't see the life, for the ones that never cared, never gave a thought, found no happiness in that brand new car or the house you bought. I see you talking about the love you lost, and it was gone like way before you ever thought it was. Yeah, I took my time, no quick ones, quick run, quick guys to get back there. Hot roads, I didn't think I'd come back fierce, cause
I was running road so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up seeing red. it's easy, it's hard to preach. Cause I've been burning trees and watch them fall. If we cannot breathe out, we go forward. Sure, I was searching for cure, fishing a little wildlife. And when I'm low on fuel, I'll still be running till my back broke. Halfway, lost hope and I checked it. Hard roads, I didn't think I'd come back fast. Cause I was running roads so many nations. Even when it's so sweet, I end up zero. This is such a ghostly revelation. I may have fucked up all my chances.
Been around the globe, looked around, nothing fitted. Seen high and lows, but you won't even get it. Been around the globe, think it's time to admit it's not the end, but the road, and you won't even get it. Been around the globe, looked around, nothing fitted. Seen high and lows, but you won't even get it. Been around the globe, think it's time to admit it's not the end, but the road.
I was running roads so many.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Gaming Malta, Mountain Dew Game Fuel, CS Money, MSI, GG Bet, and ESEA.
Hello everybody and welcome to map number 2 of BTRG versus Beyond. The first map was an absolute blowout with Beyond taking it convincingly, but now we move on to their map pick where things are looking pretty damn good for them to close it out 2-0. They begin on the T side, so perhaps an opportunity for BTRG to get some momentum going. My name is Mitch, alongside myself will be Dean as we figure out which of these teams is going to be saying goodbye to their hopes of Pro League this season.
Yeah, and I mean, after the first map, it certainly looks like it's more likely to be BTRG, as you said, with Beyond now moving on to their own map choice. They're going to be feeling pretty comfortable, but obviously BTRG at least having this CT start here on Nuke, so that is a positive. We've seen them play this map, I think it was once about a month ago was the last time they played this on HLTV, at least, and they did lose it up against Tiger, so let's see if they're going to be more successful here today, and that's a pretty solid start indeed. As they move in towards ramp, they dink down IR, they force him back away from Hell. And with that, give themselves plenty of room to maneuver towards either of these bomb sites, and they want to bring it up towards A, as you can see. The weapon for KNTZ unfortunately being lost, but they still have the, I was going to say, decent position for now, since they have the A control. But quickly flipped back into a 3-on-2 with both of these Beyond players being tagged up.
Yeah, Beyond, though, coming ahead in those fights with QQ for just an instant. And now it's down to KNTZ if they want any chance of taking the pistol. He's coming up from behind. Oh, Excura took a risky play. Going out for that fight. He could have just stuck the defuse up behind, obviously with no kit. The time wouldn't have been in his favor, so I guess he did have to go for it eventually. But up against the USP, that could have went either way. Luckily, though, it goes his way. And so we do go 1-0 with BTRG getting off to the start they hoped for. The problem is they gave a bomb plant. So Beyond can still get a pretty much exactly the same buy as their opponents have. Actually, if not even better.
Yeah, that's how the economy works, Mitch. When you're on the T side anyway. As long as you get that bomb plant in the pistol round, and in the second round, you can pull a pretty considerable buy. You're not really punished for losing the round as much as you should be. 3 Galils, 2 AKs. In terms of the actual weaponry, it is a better investment for Beyond. Not really having helmets on everyone, though, obviously something that is going to hurt them a small bit here. A couple of those players are going to be a bit more vulnerable to the weaker SMGs and also the FAMASs that are in play. But overall, Beyond, they've got the firepower here. They don't have too many nades, obviously, but they do have 1 smoke left at this point, and as you can see, most of their focus is certainly going to be towards outside.
They actually only had 1 smoke at the start of this round, conserving it for later. And it makes sense when you've got this many rifles and no utility to go for outside control. Try to force those ranged duels. They're not even up against a scout, so they actually come ahead in theory, in every single heads-up duel that they take, but they weren't expecting Impression to be just sat in towards Garage. He's almost good for 2 kills before falling as well, and considering he only had a FAMAS up against those AKs and the Galils, I think he did a pretty decent job there.
Yeah, definitely. Getting a good bit of info about what exactly was going on around this area as well. If the T side want to move in through Hell, they're going to have to deal with Excura, who's up closer on the lockers. So that's a position that may not be quite expected. So this is going to be tough as Beyond get ready to move forward. Olivia with the bomb up in heaven. Yeah, they have no idea. Extra is waiting to see if anyone else is going to show themselves. We'll realize soon it wasn't happening, at least not yet. It is just afterwards when KNTZ moves in, after it had been called by Extra that it was potentially clear. Obviously known now it isn't. He actually manages to flick over and get the second kill on towards IR on the ramp, and suddenly they've opened up B. The issue is the bomb up in heaven. It's actually just waiting instead to bring it on towards the A bomb site. KNTZ, though, he falls. He wanted to try and fight his way back up through ramp there. If he could have gotten back up and in towards Hell and then up in towards Heaven as well to play for the afterplant, that would have been fantastic. But instead, now Olivia left alone. 28 health in a 1-on-2. He has the chance to force that 1-on-1, and that was the healthy player. Oh, no way he doesn't hear these footsteps, though. Yeah, Genius is ready for this. Peeking out, not quite catching as he moves in towards Hell, but as he's coming up the ladder, it is such an easy shot that it can't possibly be missed. He was low health, so I was maybe a little bit worried that Olivia could have hit a bullet while he was moving on the ladder, but the inaccuracy not helping, and I don't believe he even got to fire off a shot. So there it is, BTRG, they get their second round, but it wasn't easy by any means.
No, definitely coming down to the wire, but winning out on those weaker buys definitely stands to them moving forward for Beyond. Getting another bomb plant, though, does put them up on rifles. This time they won't quite have the advantage that they did before in terms of their opponents having SMGs and FAMAS, but what they will have, or at least you can see that the CTs have more rifles in play, what they do have is in an economic position to play from. A huge reward awaits them if they can manage to win this round. BTRG would be forced down to no money, and it would be an eco, conceding over a 2-2 scoreline. For Beyond, this opening duel is very valuable. This round indeed as well. And you can see that having that opening, having outside control as well, with the extra little bit of utility they smoke in towards main, they're going to start moving out right underneath Heaven. The only issue for me now is they're very spread out. They are not playing this one together. Every single duel is 1-by-1, and you see Genius, look, no trade. If there was a second player there, he probably wouldn't have even gotten on so well. Impression as well hasn't been spotted towards Garage and could cause some problems if they go to main later on. But luckily, they've completely left outside at this point, with the exception of SDK, who is the one to get shut down by Impression.
Yeah, getting spotted trying to creep around into Heaven, so that is a bit unfortunate. The rest of his teammates, though, are moving on towards B, where for the moment, no one is going to be waiting from the CT side, so the bomb should be planted quite easily. Indeed, it will. The spam was coming in there, so I was a little bit afraid for a moment, but not too much going to be happening yet until they all group up. You can see all 4 players, though, surprisingly, going to be coming in from the ramp. So they just want to stick together. They want to try and swarm the bomb site. The one smoke that they had has already been used, though, and they have to deal with Mayrolds up close. He's able to get 1 at least, spots out that 2 more of these players at least are moving in from ramp, gives that info over to his teammates as they continue to take these fights, and it's now been dropped to the 1v1 Olivia yet again in the clutch. This time, though, with a health advantage, he will be able to win it. The rest of the bullets spent in the body, just to be sure. And the economy is ruined for BTRG after that damage from the previous round as well. They're looking at the double eco, so likely to force by here.
So Beyond then possibly get an even better reward, because with BTRG taking a force buy and then having no money, that's an eco after this and a 3-2 lead. Potentially, and looking likely. BTRG have a lot to do. And they haven't got any head armor either on 3 different players with no helmets. Zion, Genius, and Excurate all going to be vulnerable to the MAC-10s and the Galil that are in play. Definitely a problem. One that they've got to overcome. And their method is quite conventional. It is just a very normal hold from them. Up close on A, trying to make use of the pistols, the SMGs. Holding outside quite passively. Impression watching for the cross. They've got Excurate in a position as well to just hold it long range and spot out if anybody's here. As they don't spot anyone on an Excurate's wide peak, Impression moves in towards this A side on the back of that smoke to help out his teammates. Genius faces combat, needs to fall back at this point. Sticks around a little bit too long, but still does some decent damage, leaving Mayrolls to be one hit by a Deagle.
Yeah, that's quite helpful when you have a look at the weapons obviously available. So help them once the push comes in, and only 40 seconds left. This is going to be just brought straight out towards that A bomb site. Impression up close on the Deagle. Only able to get one, unfortunately. Does some further damage on towards SDK, but his teammates, I was about to say, do continue to fall, but that ramp flank coming in. You seen Meryl's trying to come through and get the backstab on the player up in the hut. Instead, it was IR with a flank of his own, but Olivia again is able to save the day. Gets the double spray down as they move out of hut. Again, the bullets being spammed into the body as well, knowing that he is one out. 2-1 versus 2s in a row, because that's what the previous one was as well. Way too close for Beyond's liking, but they get it in the end, and they have a chance to try and recover the amount of damage that they actually did take, of course, coming into this round, where it is now the full eco from BTRG. But a close round in the end, one that I don't think they would be incredibly happy with it if they weren't going up against an eco right now.
BTRG did damage, I suppose, but the problem is you're going to find it very hard to starve the T side, especially with the current way the economy system works. It's very difficult to starve the T side of money for consecutive rounds. Really, your hope is going to be coming in to gain control over the CT economy, and Beyond of consistently winning those last 2 rounds, making the others close. That's all they really need to do to make sure BTRG never really get off to a running start on their CT side. And if you can't get control on the defensive nuke, but you're going to fall behind by quite a bit. You cannot allow Beyond to have that much room. If they clock up 7-8 rounds, that's already a pretty big black mark against your name, and that's only what it looks like could be possible at this point. BTRG go back towards the form they were on in the previous map. Who knows where we'll end up?
Hopefully that's not what we see. This buy is not very good, though. Let's be real. Barely any nades. If we see a quick push coming in, there's no Molotov to actually delay that. There's only a single HE. Flashes, there's 2. This is, sorry, 3. So I was a little bit wrong there. But still, this is a really weak buy. A great opportunity for Beyond to just keep on building the lead and potentially get 5 if they are getting out this gun round. So this is so important for BTRG. If you actually pushed out, is going to be caught by Zion on the ladder. Accurate while on it, apparently. Able to make it work. SDK creeping outside. Did spot the shoulder just as the flash went off, but he's still able to react. Hits the headshot. Excurate's gone. And they have recovered it back into the 4 versus 4. Now wrapping around in towards Hell. You can see obviously the ramp players, and there's so much pressure having to keep an eye on that area to ensure that he's not going to be flanked around on. And pretty soon he is going to find contact, but he doesn't find any kills.
Yeah, and for such a key position on the map, you really need to be able to slow down that T side. You see now for BTRG, a save is very likely to come through. Getting down to the B bomb site on the retake is going to be difficult with very limited information. Perhaps if they can take down K and TZ, they lose 1, and 1 for 1's just not good enough in this position. And the T's don't suffer too much by losing that player, but for the CT side, the impact is definitely tangible. They'll end up in a spot now where that's 1 less rifle they'll have for the next round, where their money is not going to be fantastic. Matter of fact, they're likely to just keep these rifles, maybe drop some pistols at most, and roll on in with that weaker buy. Boom. Beyond hit 4, likely 5 as well.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, they could drop over 2 rifles, but I don't want to see it, because then they'd just be left in a very similar position to that previous round, where they just don't have the nades to hold off any of the more aggressive plays from the T side. So yeah, they make what I would say is the correct decision here to go for the weaker investment. The only issue is then, obviously, you're already conceding a 5th round to the T side, so negatives to be found no matter which decision was made. But let's see, I mean, with 2 rifles in play here, they definitely could still have some impact. Impression with an AK, Zion, who was fantastic on that previous map with an M4. You cannot count them out, but on paper, Beyond should be able to get themselves that 5th round. And they have begun to really build up their own economy here over these past few rounds. In the last couple, at least 3 surviving in that previous 5 before that. So if they can take another clean one here, then it's going to be a very difficult position where BTRG will need to build up quite a few rounds before they could even put a dent in that economy. And there we go, the opening kill towards outside. It's only 1 player probing around that area. I guess the hope is to try and pull as many players towards the outside as they can. Only one towards ramp either way as they challenge, and with that IR, again, not really being able to do too much.
Good connection there for Genius, down to 10 health, but here's the reload, rushes forward. The ball's on this man, and out he goes. That's a 3v3. An AK to be saved over potentially. With 10 HP, I don't think he gets involved unless his teammates find damage, and this is a hard call. In this spot, whether they decide to go for it or save, I don't really mind. I think I'd lean more towards the saving option with low HP, but they could go. If Zion or Impression found an opening duel within the next 10 seconds, had they've been a little bit more aggressive on ramp, I think it's a feasible plan. But going in this late, no, now we're going the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, they're a little bit too late. Genius is going to be the first one to find contact as well, unfortunately. Actually, as I said, obviously it's Impression who goes down first. Final player trapped in the corner, but Zion's already low, and the bomb was taken away, so he didn't really have any time to try and play out the situation. Instead, was forced to just charge forward into the angle and hope he could hit the headshot, but it is not allowed. 5-2, a much closer round, so not really any economy or anything being built up. Quite a bit of reinvestment has to come through from beyond. But they still have enough in the reserve for at least one buy. A little bit extra then will be left over on a couple players, but there's one more... Sorry, the 2 gun round wins would likely be enough to be able to actually put Beyond down onto an eco. Depending on, of course, if bomb plants and such come in. So there is quite a bit before BTRG can really start getting themselves back into control. So this is unfortunate. It's now been 5 rounds in a row from Beyond, of course. A reminder, BTRG, they were able to take the pistol on the round that followed it. They did, of course, struggle up against the round that followed it, but they did take it. So it looks like pretty much all of Beyond are going to focus towards the outside control in this round.
Yeah, they're crossing over with their smokes in play. You can see SDK causing a little bit of havoc here, just lobbing out his utility as well to rob them of info. Nobody can peek out from main. A flash over deep, actually, as he's going to drop and look in towards heaven. The AWP from Hell catches him, but SDK good on the head peek. Excurate following up on another, and he's ready for SDK to swing on through just like this, but somehow SDK wins the fight. I don't know how he gets away with that, but luckily, once again, the man that's constantly been holding outside successfully, Impression, with a double, leaving QQ all alone and with 0 bomb control.
Yeah, I'd say 0 bomb control is a good way to describe it. 30 seconds remaining to try and recover it, as well as he moves back towards outside. Impression, of course, still back into spawn. Zion who can move in quickly from secret if needed, but that will not be the case because Impression is there to go ahead and finish it off. Up being recovered as well, so that can be dropped back over. As BTRG do go ahead and add a 3rd round to the board. As I said, 1 more, and at that point, potentially, you're looking at the economy Beyond struggling. As you can see, after the reinvestment here, QQ and Olivier are left with pretty much no money at all. KNTZ in a similar position, only 600. As is Mayrolls now. So yeah, if they are to go ahead and win this round, even with a bomb plant from Beyond, at that point, most of their players still wouldn't be able to get the purchase. So this could give BTRG the tied up scoreline if they're able to take this one at 5th, potentially off the back of it. So this one is extremely important for both of these teams, especially BTRG on the CT side. Oh, the nade? Not quite. It looked like it was going to bounce off the edge of the door and maybe go into the left, which would have done some damage. But now in towards main instead. A slower round from Beyond. Not going to be going for that quick outside control like they did in the previous.
Yeah, conserving a lot of the utility for the late round as well. You don't want to be just rocking in and going for the same setup again and again, right? You got to stop yourself from being predictable on the T side. And hoping at this point that the lack of presence is going to cause some rotates later on. And to even further pressure that, they're going to throw their same outside smokes. It looked like they were going to send STK to outside. But instead, Olivier goes up with the AWP, and down below is KNTZ. And these players are going to try to cause a bit of a distraction. KNTZ out there waiting for a push, so that if they were to get aggressive, maybe go through the smoke, something like that, they wouldn't be able to find any info other than a bullet to the head. And here come... Whoa, oops. Here come the mollies over, and in some cases back towards them, as they look for the A control, but BTRG haven't really shifted. They're still in decent positions to defend this. Excurate up above with the AWP. Genius down below. He's able to grab one, but then falls, and this is a disaster. Fight after fight falls away, but Sign is here to save the day. Now a 1v2 for KNTZ, the late player through outside, and again, the op too slow to react. This time it's Sign. Eeyore tucked up close. There's 8 seconds left. KNTZ has to stick this. He's got a good angle, though. He can get his gun back out. Does he check his left, though? Right is clear. He knows that for sure. The timing, though, not going to work for him. As Eeyore comes around and has a good day, putting 5-4 on the scoreboard and picking up the AWP.
Yeah, they keep it going. Again, not the cleanest of rounds. But they get it. That is the main thing at this point, as long as they can keep on building up the score. And even, as I said, even with the bomb plant, it really isn't an ideal economy for Beyond. So if they were to buy, I mean, they might consider it just because of the fact that only a single player survived, and they know that BTRG are going to be in a pretty similar position in terms of the money. But it's a risky play, especially when you're already up on 5 on the T side. You just don't need to. So as you can see, instead, invest in the extra money that they have. They'll be able to get a pretty decent investment here with 3 digs, a couple SMGs in play. And if they can get 2 to 3 kills at that point, then you're feeling really good about your chances of still being able to break that economy with just 1 gun round actually going in your favor. So let's see what they'll be able to find. Quite a bit of nades actually as well. They've got smokes, or had smokes on everyone. Already one of them being put down up close on outside. And as you can see, the rest of those outside smokes as well being set up. So they are going to be, again, looking to try and get towards Secret. And it makes sense, especially with those SMGs. You want to close in the distance. The Deagles then can be really effective on the afterplant down towards B, taking those challenges towards ramp and such. Oh, but a bit of spam damage being found. As that's kind of, I was going to say, has it slowed the other players a little bit being worried, but no, they continue moving forward. Just before the smoke fades away as well, they will actually all make it across. But of course, it's not like they've been super quiet about that. They did, of course, have to put the smokes down, so a bit of a reaction at least coming in from BTRG. They have Excurate down here, but that's the op. He could be in trouble if he doesn't hit his shot, or if, of course, they just move in quickly to trade him out, which is exactly what you see, at least getting the second. But now there's an op in play.
In the hands of Olivia as well, the one man you don't want to have that weapon in these kind of positions, but luckily they're not giving him any space to work with. He's stuck in towards the halls of Secret, and as he tries to emerge from the double doors, he just goes straight on down. Double dead. SDK in a 1v4, and hell of a task on 13 HP with a Mac 10. Spray eventually makes it work, and 5-5 we go. Still, Beyond have got good foundations built. At this point, they're already good to walk all over their opponents if they win the pistol in the next, but they do want at least 1 more round. And with the way they've been managing BTRG's economy and doing damage up until now, they're in a position where they could force at least a weaker buy on some players out in the next, or at least cause that money to struggle. Realistically, though, if they're going to get a proper reward for it, they need to win 2 in a row, and at that point, they would get a free one, bringing it up to an 8-5 scoreline. This is pretty much the last chance they'll have to force an eco out of their CT side, otherwise it'll be too late, and the CTs just wouldn't go for it at that point. You just force for the final round, obviously. So there's a little, in a way, there's a lot of pressure on them, but I think Beyond understand that even if they don't manage to find this one here, or even a single round from this point forward, they are still not in a terrible position for the next half.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they'd be too happy if they ended on 5, just because of the momentum having shifted so much at that point. But as you said, 5 rounds in general is still a kind of, if you end with that, then you're usually okay with it. It's just if you're losing so many rounds in a row at that point, you're not going to be feeling too good about yourself. So at least 1 more would be nice for that bit of extra security. As they move on towards that A-bomb site, though, the smokes and the mollies going down just make it near impossible for these T's to be able to effectively trade. They don't even get to really spot the players as they go down. As it is going to be BTRG quickly cleaning it up, taking a 6-5 lead and putting a stop to that gun round before it could really get going. Again, the aim here to be at least 1 more round for Beyond, so that is their goal. But BTRG have really spun this around now. They are looking much better.
Well, Beyond adjusting their strategy to a fast ramp push that's set up by BTRG, but they lose the well, they get traded back in it, which is essentially a loss up against this buy. An M4 in play now for KNTZ. Excurate only good for 1 as well. Sign though with the M4 from afar, able to close this round out before it goes a little bit too wild. For KNTZ, You should probably try and stop them from getting that AWP back. It'll be fairly costly. One more kill, and they're in an okay position moving forward, and there it already is. KNTZ with it, and a 1v2. But the flank is on, and unless he catches Impression, who's been pretty impressive in a lot of these duels, and is coming up behind him, so obviously makes it that little bit harder. You will see BTRG still on a full buy. Their money isn't struggling, and they're still in a decent spot. But that's promising if you're able to have that much damage done in a round where you only have pistols.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like all of these rounds have been convincing. Obviously, that previous gun round was easily the most one-sided one so far for BTRG. Other than that, Beyond have been keeping all of those gun rounds quite close. So as I said, if they can get even one more, if they can manage to edge out one of those clutches, at that point they're on 6, they're feeling at least pretty decent about their T side. Obviously, then if you lose that second pistol round, it's never ideal. So they would want a little bit more after the start they had, but it would still be a decent result for sure. As Impression, the man who you said has been impressive so far, leaving an impression on us for sure, again kicks things off towards outside. Unfortunately, he sticks around, and you see help being called in there by the Beyond player who was blinded up, and he will indeed get that assistance. They're able to bring it back to the 3-on-3, but with QQ being taken down quite low in his efforts to actually get down through the vents. So not a terrible position for BTRG by any means in the 3-on-3. Setting themselves up to go in towards A, potentially. Are they going to have QQ move back up through the vent? I guess. They could move down through the vent if they wanted themselves. They need to be careful of the CT vent, and yeah, it will indeed be checked. Genius is going to fall a smoke towards the molly in towards Heaven to stop that rotation from being effective, and with that, the bomb indeed getting planted, and QQ is still down on the lower half of the map, and he's about to cut off that player in vent. If he himself goes in, though, he may not expect EOR to be here, so that could be very dangerous. Oh, the timing. Are they going to run into each other?
It looks like EOR might have the ultimate flank on this one.
I don't think he has
in
any idea, though, does he?
No, not a clue.
Yeah, just trying to save, I suppose. That's his extra all the way back into spawn.
Lots of steps heard towards outside. I'm not sure if he is entirely, actually, because QQ is on his way, moving into spawn. Spots Execute as well, misses the shot, though, as they both do. And that AK will be carried forward alongside the AWP there for Execute. BTRG, 7 rounds on the board. They need to win these next 2. They're not in a spot where they'll struggle too much, although coming in with no loss bonus sign still to invest. They will actually be forced into some weaknesses coming through on 2 of the players in the next round. They can't afford to lose this round, at least not without saving 2 weapons. And if they do, oh, they're in a lot of hot water.
Yeah, I mean, at least hot water can be pleasant sometimes. I'd say freezing cold water, because it wouldn't be a pleasant position to be in. It'd be quite uncomfortable indeed, but yeah, it's still doable. As you said, if BTRG get 9, they're feeling pretty good. 6, though, is a half Beyond can certainly be happy with, even if it maybe isn't what they were expecting after such a strong start. But there we go, Zion, he kicks things off. Genius, as he tries to fade back out of the hut. Unfortunately, won't be able to win out his aim battle against QQ, but he does so much damage. And Impression also pushed up through the door now, has the position to cut it off and actually give them a 4-on-2 with, I believe, the bomb control. Does he have that right there? I believe so. I'm not sure how easy it is to hold, but with the up also pushed up on ramp, there's pretty much no opportunity for Beyond to come in and recover.
Should be a clean one indeed. BTRG taking it as it goes 8-6. They bring forward the weapons they needed to, and now the T side struggled themselves a little bit. But as I said, 6 rounds, it's already good enough. All we need to see is 1 more for the T side, and they're absolutely fantastic. The pressure's on BTRG. A single AWP, all that's going to be coming out for them in the scope department. Everything else down onto the rifles. Now for Beyond, I'm curious to see how this one starts out. Looks like we're going to see a lot of presence towards outside in the beginning with aggressive smokes there. But then the rest of the players leaving May rolls outside to do some damage, hopefully cause a distraction. The rest move to ramp, a weakness that they defined quite clearly when they came in with the pistols. And with just EOR here holding by himself, having a rough enough game, they could be making the right call. A good passive hold though, he falls back with a smoke and a flashbang drop. and Excurate holds the angle for any wide peaks. They've still got a decent amount of control, but now the outside presence comes through, and they may fully believe this to be a B take at this point. They have nobody in secret, and for the CT side, why would they believe it's anything else? What they don't know, though, is that Beyond have moved back in towards A and are looking to push this bomb site. Luckily, still on the A side is Genius up above and on a very tricky angle to clear. He has to get more than one, though, as they come out, as they've already got a man disadvantage.
Yeah, just taking their time here, all grouped up. I guess they were really hoping someone would push through the hut so that they could get. Oh, the timing is so horrible. Zion just has 4 kills for himself. They're all standing there outside the hut. Only one player, I believe, looking at the ramp, and also not being the first man who gets contact to ramp, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Because there was obviously players who were further in towards the hut, meaning they're going to be spotted first by anyone who moves in from ramp, unless it's just a mad wide swing.
Well, that's one way to throw the round away. I think BTRG have at this point done quite about enough to pull this round across. That's insane from Zion.
Maybe even the ace from Zion. Yeah, 10 health on that final player. He's ready. Nah, IR steals it.
Nicked it away at the last second. But 9-6 either way. BTRG have done exactly what they needed, pulling it up 3 rounds ahead as we come into the halftime. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll find out exactly how this next half is going to go when Beyond switch to the defense.
Word of my niggas from the 021. You count 6 shots and I count 2 guns. Some people still think I rap just for fun, but soon they look up to me just like the sun. Yeah, you can come over here. Swear it's like no career. Swear you got no idea. Soon you have no career. Take a good look in the mirror. They need to know that I'm here. Don't you act like it ain't clear. Yeah. Push start, ayy. Ball so hard, ayy. Raise the bar, ayy. Turn into a star, ayy. Play my part, yeah. I aim too far. I do it big. I keep it large, okay. Live it up. Cause it's fake, better give it up. Young, but I feel like I've seen enough. Numbers going up, better keep it up. Ain't slowing down, better live it up. About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. What? About too hard, ayy. About too hard.
Don't you know I'm a bad little mama? I got moves like Madonna. Don't tell me cause I move when I'm gonna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna. Don't you see I'm a winner, I'm a queen. I cause no scene if you work with me. Don't stop me cause I fight when I wanna. I'm not afraid to lose, I am a prima donna.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone. 'Cause I'm just like you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. BTRG on the T side now. We're going to see exactly what they can do on the attack. 3 pieces of utility coming into the pistol round, or 3 on 2 players, I should say. They've already blitzed out towards the A site, getting a lot of presence there and looking to win out the round without killing a single player yet for the CT side. Beyond setting up for the retake, they've got a kit, they've got a smoke, and a lot of kills to make happen.
Yeah, no damage up until this point being done. Zion actually repositioning by going outside to try and cut off these players. It works out perfectly. Genius catches then Olivia as he's forced to push in through main, and BTRG looking fantastic here in this pistol round. Double digits pretty much confirmed as it all falls onto QQ. Gets the first coming in through. Oh, okay. Gets a second. But I think you need like 1 or 2 bullets left there, and as you can see, BTRG, they were always ready to just try and follow up immediately with another player. So they do indeed find 10. 4 rounds now in the difference, likely to be... I was going to say 5, but they are just going to go for the force by here. I thought they were willing to take maybe the 1 eco. But a scout, some pistols, some MP9s. This force buy, if it doesn't work out for them, unfortunately means they go down 12-6 before they see a gun round. So this is putting quite a lot of pressure on them to actually win it out.
BTRG moving in with Excurate to outside. He's the only player with a rifle. Well, with a strong rifle, the Galil in the budget one. 2 players come over the roof, get caught up close by QQ, who's able to take down a double on the Deagle. As Excurate tries to bring in supportive fire from afar, he can't get it done. Lights Olivia to 12 health, but that's just not good enough. BTRG massively behind in this round. They cannot afford to lose this. After winning the pistol, to be shut down like that, it would just be embarrassing. And put Beyond back up in the driver's seat in this series. They would only be 3 behind facing into an eco. At a very minimum, BTRG need a bomb plant, but even then, with the kind of investment they made, I wouldn't be happy with that. They need the round win. And this really, Dean, is a swing round, you know, because if they lose, we end up in a spot where Beyond are likely 10-8. They're close, and it's neck and neck with the CT side advantage. But for BTRG, if they win this, they could actually 12-6 it. And then, at that point, they've restored my faith. There's at least 1 kill to bring us toward that end.
Still possible. Another player up close and towards Hell, though, which just isn't expected. That's the bomb that moves in on its own, unfortunately. Exker is able to return it, but he needs his teammate now to go retrieve that bomb, and Zion already being low health is such an easy target for the Deagle. QQ here to finish it off, potentially. Not quite able to. But there's only 12 seconds. This bomb just has to be sprinted onto the bomb site, and as you can see, SDK is ready for it. 5-7 in hand, 6 seconds remaining. Not directly watching the player outside, because that makes sense. And although Excurate gets the kill, of course, he just doesn't have time. Nothing to be done. Olivia looking to see if he can maybe upgrade the weapon. There's a Galil, but not able to reach it, so it's the Scout that he carries over for now. As well as, of course, Excurate been able to save over to Krieg. But Beyond have done it. They fought back in. The force play here from BTRG is not going to be great. And they have an opportunity now to bring themselves back up to potentially 9 rounds if they win out against this one, of course.
Well, here we go. BTRG on the verge of throwing away the lead that they worked so hard to muster up. And we did mention that with the foundation of 6 rounds built for Beyond, they were in with a chance to really close this series out on this map. Oh, they're great nades. Absolutely fantastic. Landing right down below QQ and taking him out before he can have the same outstanding performance on outside that he did in the previous round. Genius not going to fall to the Deagles. The spray's on through, or the Scout. Even though he's on 1 health, a good tag as Eeyore goes low as well. And it looks like they're going to change their approach from hell up into heaven. Eeyore caught in the fade back, so we're closer here in the steps. KNTZ now can just give up the angle. Content with the advantage he's found. Holding in that head peak position isn't really viable, though, up to heaven, because they don't have control of outside. And he knows those players can come in at any moment, so he's got to be constantly distracted. And every second looking at heaven is a risk that that flanker comes out and kills you.
Yeah, this go for Olivia. Not ideal, as you said. No, that he's caught in between a couple of players, but with Genius being low, that is, of course, only 1 bullet that's needed. Ends up getting the headshot. That is a little bit overkill, but ensuring that he is going to be finding the frag, of course, the best scenario in that position. And KNTZ going to find Excura as he was attempting to, of course, catch the rotation down through the vent, which makes sense when they're left in the 2-on-3. Unfortunately, when it doesn't work out, then Impression left all alone. He tries to work his way back in towards the ramp where SDK was ready, and with that beyond, they find 8. And as I said, likely 9 now off the back of it. A bomb plant going down can give a few pistols, at least to BTRG, but not much more than that, because they only get 2,400 loss bonus going into this next round. So beyond working their way right back into Nuke, as BTRG have certainly been performing a lot better here, which is surprising considering Mirage was their map choice. We thought that's where they were going to have a better time.
Well, of course, that's what you imagine. The team picks a map that they'll not get completely stomped out and then compete on their opponents. But BTRG are be content in breaking that narrative. Deep nade, not landing for very much. Mayrolls holds on top of the box. He has a good fallback position. And now it's time to initiate the fallback procedure. Flashes, pull Olivia off the angle. Is going to Molotov it to make sure they don't get all too close. The Krieg from afar, looking for some victims. With Beyond giving up all that control, I like their step-by-step. They've got fallback, cover from Olivia. Olivia can't get anything done. Flashed off the angle, goes back further, Molotovs it, watches from afar, feeds the info to the teammate. Exactly what's going on down below in B. I think we're seeing the repositioned QQs down there. Also on B. Ah, it's Mayrolls. There he is. Trying to find him. He sat in observation. The BTRG wait a while, and the logic behind that kind of play is Beyond should go out and look for map control. Maybe push back in towards ramp and give them a free kill. But Beyond haven't done that. They're content to sit down and play this, knowing they've got the advantages when it comes to the fights. That means they've got to win those duels, and that's not a victory for them. 1-for-1s put the T-side ahead in a normal round, but especially when they're able to get a free Krieg.
Yeah, it looked like it was nearly going to be the lineup for Olivia, but no, the Deagle's a little bit too strong, only able to get the one before falling, and with that, as you said, giving a Krieg over now to Impression. A man who's been having some fantastic rounds so far. Sadly, as he moves in, is going to go straight down. Zion recovers the weapon and finds a couple of headshots with it as well. Potentially given a bomb plant. KNTZ is really close though, and he's able to pop out, but not quite in time to deny the bomb plant itself. So 3 kills at least being found. The bomb plant as well going down for BTRG. That's a very successful round considering they didn't have much of an investment. And now coming up to their first gun round, they're in a pretty fantastic spot where they can get pretty much everything they could want. No op being purchased. They could have gotten one. Deciding against it.
This was the problem that we highlighted, Dean, really. When you come in, BTRG, win the pistol, lose directly afterwards, I was already scared, but not being able to connect the rounds after. At least, though, the 2 bomb plants in play. As you said, they had money for the AWP if they wanted, but we saw the very same on Mirage, where Excurate preferred to play in with the Krieg in some of these early rounds when they go for the scrappier fights. Over towards Mirage, it was an aggressive mid-take that they decided on it with lots of smokes in play, so obviously not a lot of maneuverability for the AWP to work around with. This time, it's a much scrappier one, and I think one where an op would have been viable, but you can see Excurate's role here is to entry in towards Secret, somewhere you don't want to be pushing first with an AWP. They've got a man advantage, having Sign already taken down KNTZ in the doorway up above of Squeaky. And as they move forward towards this B site, the rotates, just double check because the map was catching me off guard there for a second. They haven't come in. It's only QQ. He's down, tucked in the corner, the very back right, and if he can't find anything under observation, I think Beyond will just go in for a save on this one. Gotta be 2 kills or more.
Yeah, this is going to be very difficult. Has even been spotted already. As we can see, most of the players though set up around this A site for BTRG, so this is where the push is going to actually be committed towards potentially. Olivia on the back of the bomb site being taken low already, but he does have the help of SDK, and all of their focus initially being on that upper. What the hell? Impression, or rather Excurate, just doesn't react to SDK on top of the hook. He goes down, so do the rest of his teammates. It's all on Zion, low health. Needing an ace clutch with only 12 seconds left to get the final 3 players. It is impossible with the bomb already dropped, of course. So he backs away, and Beyond, they've brought it back to 10-10. I was wondering if he was going to go for the wall bang towards ramp there. Maybe he could have found the kill. But no, Zion should be safe. They can't afford to buy even with that, though. It is going to have to be one more eco before they can get the investment back in the following round. And at that point, of course, Beyond are going to be in the lead.
Dean, it's a depressing situation for BTRG. You know, they did everything right. Managed to pull it all the way to 9 rounds on their defensive side. They won the pistol, and from that point, it was looking stellar. As we said at one point, it could have been 12-6. And that advantage is much harder to let go of. But in those early rounds of the half, it's important to build up your money, and that is and keep your opponents low. The latter, they've done to an okay degree, but the first, the former, as they say, has not quite panned out according to plan. BTRG, though, can have that slower start to the T side, as we mentioned before, but they need to figure something out, and this next round is really coming towards the end of the grace period. They'll lose that. It becomes very difficult to have faith in their ability. Right here, right now, though, they've only got pistols and an AK, and so realistic, well, we have to be realistic with our expectations. Not a whole bunch should happen for them. QQ getting tagged up early on, though, is a good sign for BTRG. Moving in towards that AWP certainly doesn't help things. The Molotov pushes Mayrolls. 50 health, 2 players on B, both of which are extremely low. These pistols could do it on the back of that utility damage done early on. The flank from Sign, it could be it again. Hit a huge round before. That's the Opper taken down on the ramp. QQ has to hide behind a predictable angle, but they're just not ready for it. Again, though, Sign steps up to the plate and finds the frag, the bomb plant in, and Beyond on a retake.
At least keeping the health low, and the hole in the door, it backfires on Zion, unfortunately. Impression out in the open is just about able to work his way in towards the bomb site and in behind that silo, but being pinned in that position with both of the CTs working in from the double doors together, he just isn't able to deal with it. Beyond, they're able to recover the 2-on-2 retake, but again, a fairly close round, and it is when BTRG have very little to work with apart from a rifle and some pistols, so they can overall be kind of happy about how that went down. They are keeping the damage on towards the economy of the CT side as well, with most of these rounds being quite close. At most, 3 players have survived for Beyond, but they need to pick up a round here and now, otherwise it's just going to start getting out of control for them.
As we said, this is the important round. BTRG come in with their AKs. Again, Exker, it's going to be taking the Krieg instead of the AWP. Really not feeling the opping game. We saw some weird fights in the previous map up against Olivia, where Olivia had about 10 minutes to react to every peek, even in towards that op of Exker. In fact, that was even how they closed out the game. It was with a very extended peek. So taking the Krieg perhaps gives them that little bit more flexibility. Now this is a crazy slow round from BTRG. They're waiting for Beyond to get aggressive and take some pushes, but nothing comes out. Eventually the smokes go over from Sign and Exker shortly afterwards, presumably. Though somewhat delayed at this point. They will look to move on forward. Oh, Sign. Sign's been playing insane, man. 25 kills. That's just put him across the line.
Yeah. He was certainly one of the standout players for them. The previous map as well had his moments. SDK though, actually getting 2 for himself. My auto director isn't showing me what's going on right now. I did see QQ able to get one as he pushed in towards the lobby as well, and they've just denied all control for BTRG. Obviously, they wanted to get that outside control initially. They got it, sure, but now they have nothing else to work with, and they're left in a 2-on-4. Feeling the pressure to just make these plays happen, and although Impression gets that kill around main, he takes so much damage for it. Oh, but this Excurate rains down hell from above on the roof. Ends up taking a bit of fall damage, which isn't ideal. But he's still on 70, so it's not the end of the world. A 2-on-2 is much better position than it was looking to be a moment ago at least, as they get that bomb just about in time on towards the B bomb site.
Into a 1vx though, Excurate able to find himself one, and so it's just Mayrolls to deal with 20 health, and he's got the angle. Well played by Excurate, showing us why he picked up that Krieg with a 3k found and an 11th round for BTRG at long last. But can they pull it off again? Probably. Because Beyond ain't got any cash. At least not on Olivia, so the AWP isn't going to be the threatening beast it has been. That said, KNTZ could buy it, but he decides on the auto shotgun. And I think if this was T-side, maybe you can have an argument for that kind of investment, but because Nova coming out from A-rolls, all right, second one we've seen. I haven't seen the Nova bought up in any E or NACS for a long time, but we come into Asian and everyone loves it. It's an odd situation. What I was going to say was
yesterday, I think we seen one like every game.
Yeah, no, people loved it. We saw, wasn't it like a Hero Nova? Or someone had no cash and they bought it. It was some weird situation.
They bought a Nova and everyone else ecoed it. It was really strange.
Hero Nova. It's good. That's going to get you the win. But no, when I'm looking at the auto shotgun for KNTZ, instead of dropping an op, I think it makes sense on the CT side because you can't rely on Olivia to win the round single-handedly when you're in a round like this. And oh my, the Deagle opening it up. UQ immediately abandons it, and BTRG haven't got any backup plan for that. The player outside's just died for essentially no reason. Who was supposed to be selling the fake, and so they now just smoke out and start to move in towards inner and radio afterwards. Exine realized he probably shouldn't have thrown that nade. He lobs it in and then goes, oh wait, we're supposed to be going outside, so he runs towards outside with the steps. But here comes the Nova. Let's see what it's got.
Oh, nothing apparently. He actually done some damage. Did get the tag onto Oyer, was basically touching him with the shotgun as well, but it wasn't enough for the kill, so quite unfortunate. But they are rotating down quickly. They've already got a couple players around observation as well, but no. It is just not allowed. Genius, he shuts it down, and although SDK will get one eventually, he's left alone in the 1-on-2. Didn't spot Oyer there, apparently. He was on 12 health, so if he could have got that kill, then there definitely would have been some hope in the 1-on-1 with a potential rifle to be retrieved. But it doesn't happen in the end. But good damage overall coming in from Beyond, considering they didn't invest too much in that round. They could have done with maybe keeping a little bit of extra money. As you can see, a couple of masses being forced into play. Nades could be a lot better as well, so it's not an ideal buy. So there certainly is quite a bit of pressure on them. If they lose this round, then they're in a lot of trouble. Map 3 at that point, again, could be looking pretty likely. But they have the opportunity, at least here, to try and fight back in.
Well, Beyond, not in the greatest of spots, really, if they lose out on this one. The pressure's on. And really, considering the fact that they took the lighter buy in the previous and don't end up with an AWP, you really question whether KNTZ's investment into an auto shotgun was worth it at all. I think that's probably a situation where they could have used a pause to really dictate how they were investing their money, because they've not ended up in a good spot, all things considered. That's a great nade. Oh, or not. Counter-Strike says no.
Does 9 damage. Genius.
Well, it did 2 to Excurd as well, so 11 total. Come on, Dean.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice. I just seen the bit go down. Yeah, I just seen the little bit go down in the bar for Genius. The red bit made a highlight, but Excurd took so little damage, and it didn't even catch my eye. I say eye because I have one bad eye.
Fair. Well, 2 damage is fairly insignificant anyways. I don't think we'll be seeing the round defined
91 does help when there's a couple of masses and even the M4s.
Sure, yeah. Ooh.
Secret control. 30 seconds left, so at this point I guess they will be committing towards B. Although they could bring it back up to vent. I think that might actually be the goal for them.
Yeah, we've seen this a couple of times where they go down, get secret control, don't actually commit towards a KNTZ. Only good for the one. SDK takes down, finishes off one with Genius onto Impression. That's not what you really want to see, is it? But luckily, Olivia's in a 1v3 in the end. It's not looking likely with a FAMAS in play. Sprays at the player down below, but Excurate from afar over towards the vents was able to save the day and put 13 on the board for BTRG, fighting, clawing desperately to bring this to a third map. And they're now starting to make me believe that it's possible. I was doubting it, but Inferno might be coming up, unless Beyond can win the next round. Not this one here, though, because for now it's just an eco, and 5 USPs. I don't quite believe in their ability.
Yeah, no. You never can believe in the USPs, but they do catch you off guard every now and again and contribute a bit more than you would expect. Is that going to be one of those rounds? You would hope not for BTRG. This is one where you expect them to have an easy time, and of course with that bringing themselves to 14. Meaning, as I said, map 3 will begin to look pretty likely. It's going to be this next gun round for Beyond that is necessary for them to start working their way back in, and ideally they want to be pretty much flawless from that point on. Otherwise, if they drop around, of course, the best they're looking at is an overtime. They're playing this very safe on the T side. Not wanting to give any chance to the pistols. Not being 100% sure of what's been upgraded by these players. Could be a couple of Eagles and such, so they didn't want to take the risks. We do have a couple players tagged down, and one of them has been finished off. Impression. Spamming from up on top of main. Being spotted by QQ as he peeks in and gets a bit more damage done on towards Genius as well. Long-range USPs are being given quite a bit more room to work with than I would have expected, but still not really being able to output the damage that's necessary for the kills.
Yeah. It's one of those rounds where it's boring and it should be. BTRG walk away with just one loss. That investment isn't going to cripple them. But here we go, Dean. This is where things actually matter for Beyond. Coming in with a hard investment. Olivia getting the AWP out. Everybody else on the rifles. The utilities in play. And if they lose this, the game's over. I mean, we go to a third map. So the game, not necessarily, but the map most definitely. Because then they'll be forced down to a very mixed fire. FAMAS will probably be the best thing that they have. No pause coming into this one, which I'm quite surprised at. We've seen very lackluster use of pauses across this series. Funny that from the team that called a pause after winning the pistol round on T-side Mirage, Beyond now come into this one and go, yeah, we don't need it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's surprising. It would have been pretty helpful if to just have a few seconds to reset themselves, if not to even discuss what exactly they want to do. Sometimes it's nice to just call that in and calm down. Well, let's see. Perhaps they know exactly what they want to do here in this round. They know, of course, it is one that they need to pick up, otherwise this map is probably over. And unfortunately, for them, they've lost the control around the vents. 3 players have already moved down. They have QQ who immediately reacts. The nade goes in. Doesn't quite manage to get the kill, but it does considerable damage towards IR. As the frags are being found for both sides, but eventually going in favor of Beyond. As QQ is able to finish off that low health player. So the man advantage now for Beyond as they look to work in for this retake. And as we pointed out, one that is definitely necessary.
Spacing's terrible. QQ taken down, and look how much time Genius has before going into that second duel. SDK got to do it all, and he wants to just save the weapon. I could see that when I saw Olivia go back for the M4. QQ still walking forward. Olivia sprinting towards him. It's like, this is just going to go so badly. And BTRG to take a 15th round, but Beyond have really thrown that one away. With a man advantage especially, to go in just so loose. Go in looking for duels, it's crazy.
Yeah, this one just fell apart for Beyond. They were looking fantastic through, well, certain moments of this game. Obviously in the first half, towards the end of it, they also did struggle. So I guess it really is, as soon as the full gun round comes out for BTRG, they just look better here on Nuke. And it has been, I guess, kind of them just hitting their shots. Zion, Impression, and Extra have all been so difficult to deal with. And we haven't had anyone quite stepping up to the same level over and Beyond, even though, of course, QQ, KNTZ and such have been having a pretty decent performance. They haven't been... It's just kind of round winning. I guess they haven't been able to take over rounds on their own. They've been more so definitely contributing what they need to. But they haven't had everyone stepping up at once, which has been a bit of an issue. Outside control again being the goal here. More aggressive with the smokes though, so that they can try and get that control up close around main. Olivia just pushes straight through the smoke, manages to find Impression and escapes without taking really any damage at all.
A nice start to the round at least. Bailing on out and putting BTRG down a man. They now look to move towards the ramp where you see Mayrolls holding on a FAMAS with a pixel angle. That's all he needed. Waiting a second or two longer before actually lobbing a nade on through. Sticks around for the duel and almost wins it. Were it not a FAMAS in his hands, he would have. But with 2 HP left, Sign is alive. BTRG move towards the B bomb site, or at least that's what they want the CTs to think. They're moving backwards, straight into the auto shotgun that tears them apart. What was that? They had control of B. They must have thought they'd fake the rotates down, but with nobody watching for any main push, they just walked straight into a flanker. A very weird mid-round from BTRG. They're playing 4D chess against themselves.
Yeah, as you said, a strange decision to try and run it back. Must have thought they'd already forced those CTs down through the vents to set up on B, but not quite the case. They had indeed begun to rotate, but that was only because they had already pushed one player up through lobby, who of course was in on that flank with the shotgun, which was the ideal weapon when both of those players came around the corner, just not expecting anyone to be there. 15-12, 3 more to go for Beyond now if they want to pull this one into an overtime. And if they win out this round here, it probably would leave BTRG on an eco. I'm sure they have some money here, but you can see impressions low, so he's going to need to drop over after everyone invests then for themselves. Most of the players really aren't going to have much money left at all. Zion, of course, still yet to buy as well. So there you see, not much money being left over apart from on Genius, who was 2750. So an opportunity for Beyond if they get this one to go ahead and actually force the eco off the back of that, bring it up to 14, and at that point only have 1 gun round standing between them and overtime.
Well, here we go, launching into the round. As you said, Beyond might be able to force their opponents down to an eco with just this round win. They can connect a couple rounds. Possibly bring us through to an overtime to try and close the series out without hitting a 3rd map and giving BTRG a way back in. Going to be a difficult one for them for sure, but with the way Olivia is playing, having the AWP in his hands is always valuable, but he's definitely slowed down when it came towards Nuke. This time it's going to be a reposition over towards the ramp. Usually Olivia's been playing that outside angle, but obviously not enjoying it. And this is what they've changed to try and win the round. They get an opening duel, but he sticks around. Again, it just seems like both of these teams at times have got such poor awareness of where their opponents can be. Yes, Mayrose was close, but that doesn't mean you can't be challenged like that. And for what? To throw a nade through instead of holding it with an op? You're going to trade your life potentially for 40 damage. Complete misread of how that round was playing out.
Yeah, and I was about to say a position that the ramp holder in those previous few rounds has been in as well, so it's not like it was a position they weren't going to expect. I was surprised he was able to get the kill pretty much for free. They tried to jump across, obviously, and bait out the shot. It didn't work. He connected, and then with that afterwards, we seen the kind of mishap where he tried to toss the nade in. This round is still looking pretty competitive, though. It's towards outside. It comes down to the 2-on-1, actually, as SDK drops Zion. And now there's only 25 seconds with the bomb dropped towards outside. IR in a very difficult position. He just needs the kills pretty much, and indeed gets the first on SDK. At this point now, KNTZ, he should know where IR is coming from. It's not like he's being quiet about this at all. He's just sprinted in to try and retrieve that bomb, but it's not going to be allowed. Gets dropped, and with that, 13 for Beyond. This one should be the eco, though, for BTRG.
They've got 13 rounds, and it looks like they're going to take it beyond that. So, you get it. Because there's only a little bit of cash left for BT, as you said. It's a technical pause coming through, though, Dean, and this one is going to be a... Wait for it. There we go. It's a technical pause coming through, though, Dean, and this one's going to take a little while. Apparently, one of the players on Beyond has timed out, and he's not yet back on the server live. So, we'll throw things over to a quick break while they solve the tech issues, as we're not exactly sure how long it will take. But we'll keep you updated in the Twitch chat, so stay tuned and we'll be back with the rest of this half in just un petit peu.
Stand up, you've got what it takes to fight back. Don't stop until you black out, out, out. Stand up, you've got what it takes to fight back, back. Don't stop until you black out, out. Keep holding on, show him how to make a miracle. Stand up, you've got what it takes to fight back, back. Don't stop until you black out, out. Keep holding on, show him how to make a miracle.
And welcome back, folks. Tech issues resolved beyond 13 rounds on the board, and they should be good for a 14th. And they'll be competing for map point. Bring it over to an overtime or to lose. They're coming into this one versus just pistols, obviously. So, as we said, 14, not guaranteed, but about as close to it as you can get.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen rounds like this go wrong before, but it shouldn't be the case here for Beyond. They should be able to deal with it. Although they don't have too many nades, so that certainly could be a little bit dangerous, especially as already BTRG have crossed most of their players across the secret and are beginning to work down towards that lower portion of the map, of course. There is a smoke available for QQ that could potentially cover off one of these angles once the push begins to come in, and he's going to hear a lot of footsteps now actually making their way down towards the double doors, so definitely should be calling that over towards his teammates. Needs to be cautious though, because if he gets overrun, suddenly there's a chance for maybe that bomb plant to come down, and with that potentially a rifle to be stolen away, but he says no. QQ playing the headshot angle. Nice transfer on the spray, gets 2, and now he has Olivia here to help as well, so this should be this round over and done with. The 14th indeed going to be found for Beyond, and one more to go to try and take it into an overtime to keep the dream of the 2-0 alive.
Well, let's see if we're going to make it over to that overtime or if this is going to be the 16-14. A crushing defeat, really, if you're Beyond, knowing that you could have been done by now, but you've got to go to another map and fight. A fourth there again where BTRG could potentially win the series. It's going to be rough for them, certainly, if they lose. Now we move on into this, with BTRG having a slow approach, moving up through outside. Excurate swings in on the back of these double smokes, crosses down below, avoids the Molotov as well. BTRG definitely going to go to B. Look, they've got presence in towards ramp. Their body language definitely looks like this is a B hit. They've got to contend with May rolls on the way, but they are leaving themselves with some options. Like before, they're watching for, or what failed for Beyond before, they're watching for the flank in towards radio, making sure that nobody is going to be pushing in through T-main. And with ramp control, they can slow the round. 1 minute 10 seconds. Beyond got to scramble to get back into the game. Let's take a look at where the players are. You've got 2 down towards the B bomb site, 3 actually with QQ and Secret. And so A is significantly weakened, which is what BTRG have the read on as they start to move back towards this site.
Yeah, AR actually going to lead the way out the door. Ready, of course, to come up through the vents as well. They get the trade successfully on towards K&D and main. They didn't initially spot SDK, but he ends up dropping down onto the hut, and with that isn't able to find anything at all. BTRG with the man advantage as the bomb gets planted. That nade is fantastic. Doesn't do nearly as much damage as I expected it to. Not sure if it bounced in towards the door, perhaps, but yeah, 4 on 3 here with the bomb planted. Mayrolls should be able to pull one back indeed, creeping around into the door. The issue is impression up in heaven. They have control to try and play off of the bomb, as long as these players around the bomb site can actually delay. That is, so far, not having much success doing so. Zine being found by Mayrolls as well. 3 for him. And then QQ comes in to go ahead and clean up as impression falls. 15-50, and the overtime indeed is going to be reached. As Beyond, they make the comeback happen.
Well, that's a bit of an upsetting one for BTRG. They had map point for a little bit, and then they fall apart at the last hurdle. Not able to connect that round puts them now in a position where it is going to be a pretty tough task to get back into a spot where they can feel confident. On the T side, they've struggled, and Beyond will look to shut them out now that it comes to full buys again and again. Olivia, as we said with the AWP, has been a little bit more quiet towards the majority of this game, but in those last couple rounds certainly started to warm up. The tag narrowly avoided in through the smoke as BTRG gave a little bit of damage early on. But overall, this is again panning out to be one of their slower rounds. Only exception is Sign on the back of the smoke has made it right down into the vent.
Yeah, not for the first time either. I believe able to make it down a couple times before during the regulation. This time staying on the ladder itself, though. So is the goal maybe to move back up towards A eventually? It's an interesting position to stick in. Obviously not going to be too accurate if someone was to come down into Secret and peek from the bottom of the ladder. nor if he was to be peeked from above, but he does have teammates around lobby, of course, that are watching to ensure that no one's going to come down the vent behind them. So that is in place for now with just under a minute remaining. The question is now, obviously, since they have no outside control, really the only aim for them to try and get their way down towards B is to go in towards ramp. And as we can see, a couple players set up around this area. The Molotov dropped by QQ. That helps to separate the players as they go forward. And by the time Extra comes out to try and get the trade, Olivia was ready with the up. The bomb moves back towards lobby, where it also falls, and it's all on Zine, the man who would creep down to that lower half of the map early in the round. But it's not too useful at this point now that he's left alone.
No, it really isn't. He has no idea where these players are. Has to clear every angle of 50-50. Oh, he spots the barrel. There's the first kill. The bomb to be retrieved. Where does he take it? Out towards A. By the looks of things, there's a player in heaven. The molly goes out. It's ticking sign away. 8 seconds left. He, doesn't stick it. But Olivia still wins that duel. I think either way, let's imagine he kills Olivia there. You could see immediately there was another player in team main that probably could have caught up to him before that bomb was planted. So either way, he probably wasn't going to get away with the round.
Yeah, it would have been very unlikely. Even then, the bomb plant obviously not helping with money. So really the goal there was to try and just win it out. Having a look at the scoreboard, even they're seeing Zahin on 31. It's not like the rest of the players are lacking, but he has just been fantastic throughout this entire map. A bit unfortunate, of course, if it's not going to be enough for them to get the victory. But there is still time. It's only the first round of the overtime that's gone towards Beyond, so it's certainly not over yet. If they can get even one here on the T side, then normally you'll be feeling all right. At that point, you'll be feeling pretty good. Then you're just aiming to try and get the flawless 3 on the CT side. But of course, that's also the goal right now for Beyond. They don't want to let anything slip away. Again, just going to be another quick A hit. Zine, though, flashed in, is able to find one up close. QQ somehow gets a double coming through the smoke, but it's still working out for BTRG. Leaving Extra at the hold for that ramp flank works in their favor. The bomb is going to be retrieved, and obviously no one SDK is on that A bomb site. They just run it down towards B. The bomb's going to be planted, and SDK already tagged up left in a 1-on-2.
DK's chances of winning this are low, but there's no point in saving at this stage, obviously. With only 1 round left to play and plenty of money in the bank, thanks to the regular overtime, not the messed up 10k one. This is where we get to see clutches being attempted instead of boring saves. SDK going to be able to muster anything with it. Just 53 health as he pushes out the single door, catches the player off guard. Now into a 1v1. Smoke dropped over towards the silo. Doesn't fully cover him though. He's going to tap it twice, putting a flash down on the floor as well. But that's going to cost him his life. I presume when he came off that he was going to swing through and look for the peak. Having heard the window smash though, he thought he had it. And really he might have had that smoke have been a little bit deeper. But as I said, it didn't fully cover him. So he was pretty screwed at that point.
And as I said, really, 1 is the goal when you're on the T side here on Nuke. If you get 2, then you're feeling fantastic. So if BTRG are able to get into that position, then Beyond again, I think would be very worried and would certainly be once again trying to claw their way back into the map. Oh, that's a bit unfortunate. Doesn't do too much damage, thankfully, because it was only on the leg as the player was jumping. But QQ down to 72, a man who's been having a decent amount of impact for his team, actually the most at this point up there with 28 frags. So him being slightly weakened up certainly could cost them if that hit is taken in towards this part of the map, which again, it is going to be the goal. The last 3 rounds now have been pretty much the same approach from the T side. Zion able to get actually 2 openings there, including with the Molotov. Unfortunately, this time it's traded back much more successfully from Beyond, so they are going to go ahead and slow things down. But I was going to say with so much time, they had a great position because they had a player on outside even. Unfortunately, now Impression falls just as they're making their way, I guess, down on towards that lower half of the map. It could have been fantastic to actually have that one player still lurking around that area. But instead, now the man advantage for the CTs. The molly goes in as well. That's going to stop. It's actually not going to stop the bomb plant because the smoke was ready.
Well, it looks like things might fall apart for BTRG yet again in this round with Eeyore left alone. He's got a big clutch and caught out by the op of Olivia. Beyond take this half 17-16. Which is 2-1. First to 4 in each overtime. And here in OT number 1, Beyond are looking good to bring this across the line. Now, though, they have to do it on their T side. And you got to remember, and just take a look at how things went down before. 9-6 overall. You consider early rounds and all that. I think in buy rounds, they were fairly close to even, which puts this down to a coin flip of whether BTRG can actually stay alive in Pro League or whether they go out without a chance.
Yeah, with players like Excura, Impression, Zion, you know that they definitely are expecting to be there. So it would be unfortunate if they do end up falling. But Beyond have certainly shown that they are capable. I'm looking forward to seeing what these players can do as well. It's been an exciting map here and has made up for what was, of course, a much more one-sided map number 1. And it's not over yet either. There certainly could still be a map number 3. Is it Inferno was the decider? Am I remembering correctly here?
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's been a little while now. We're into the overtime on this one. So since we've looked at the VO, it has probably been above an hour when you take in all the tack pauses and such. Yeah, the discussion going on right now. Was that just a technical, I guess? Because we didn't have the time. Or just a little bit of a break between the halves in general, but we are getting going. Beyond, of course, getting 2 on that CT side, they feel decent, but BTRG, being able to at least find 1 on their T side, of course, does give them the opportunity to try and close it out here in this overtime, if they can make the flawless CT side happen, which is not impossible when you look at how it went in their regulation overall. Once they did get the guns out, at least they were looking fantastic.
There's Olivia with an opening. Straight through the door to take down Sign and put a 5v4 on the board. BTRG struggling on the back of that. Their AWP positioned over in heaven, so this ramp play, oh, if he peeks out again, he could be in a lot of trouble. Luckily, though, not going in for the wild and wacky playstyle we've seen come through again and again with an Asian Counter-Strike, but instead taking a much more passive approach and towards the angle on the back right, drops down. Those steps are heard, though. More importantly, the drop. They know now that ramp has been abandoned. Clearing the right, close right and then up above, knowing that that's completely open, puts them in a spot where they can quite convincingly presume they've got control. I don't like the continued push by QQ, and he gets taken down for it. It's just so unnecessary at that point. You know, having given up ramp control, there's definitely somebody watching in towards that from either heaven or hell.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the goal was there exactly. Instead, now they're just left in the 4-on-4, make it even a 4-on-3 as Genius drops the bomb as they attempt to come out the door. It ends up being immediately smoked off as well, so trying to recover that is going to be a difficult task. But as I say that, somehow Olivia is able to pick it up without taking any damage at all. It's Mayrolds who ends up taking 1 bullet as he fades away. He was in the background, of course, trying to cover a 3-on-4, though, from what was a 5-on-4. Impression just before the Molotov spreads to his feet, he is able to go ahead and extend that advantage even further. Willing, of course, to let them move down now towards that lower bomb site where IR is waiting in towards Dark, and he's going to be there to go ahead and hold it on his own. Gets both of those remaining kills. 17-70 and Beyond. They had a strong start with the up pick from Olivia, but as you said, as soon as that player was lost, pushed forward on ramp, it just began to kind of spiral out of control.
Yeah, it was a very peculiar round. To send your bomb out first to Squeaky, you know immediately you're going to gain the CT's attention for the rest of the players, even if you do find the kill, but especially if you don't, because that bomb's down in the open. A very weird round for Beyond, but we'll look past it. Now they need to win 2 in a row, but so did BTRG if they want to pull it through to another map and keep themselves in with a chance of finding their spot in Pro League. The time ticks away in this one, and we see Beyond towards outside, but they're not going to get any contact. Impressions on the angle. We saw him in the very first buy round, and many times since then. Just playing nice and passive in the back of Garage. As Beyond look to cause some noise, and this is great, considering the setup that's in play for BTRG. When you're throwing out utility towards outside, there's no way that they can confirm whether there's a player there or not. Xcurit's watching for the cross, but other than that, they could be crept up close. So you actually need to see Sign being a little bit cautious of anybody making their way in towards main. The only thing I would like is if they actually smoked off Garage, knowing especially that Impression was there so many times. And they have got quite a number of smokes for a ramp take. They still have 3 remaining, which is quite a lot considering the part of the map they're pushing down.
Going in towards ramp, though, is going to be difficult against the op of Excura. The player on the ramp itself as well has fell back down to ensure that he's going to be able to waste as much time as possible on that lower bomb site. And they actually have to go through a smoke to try and get on towards B. IR is ready. being blinded, is still able to find one kill as he fades back, but he will fall. And I was going to say, with that, a good opportunity. Olivia especially giving him that opening now by finding Zion over towards Decon. The bomb gets planted. They even have a bit of a health advantage with the lurker. KNDZ only able to get one, though, before he falls.
Pushes Olivia into the corner, but he still finds it. He's going to die to Genius. Oh, no, sorry, he's not. Forgot, of course, the trade went down there. Genius is over towards the single door, and he cannot win that fight. QQ landing it and pulling them into an 18-17 scoreline. That was a great flash as well by QQ down on the ramp earlier on in the push. If he didn't right-click that through the smoke, I think they would have gotten torn apart by that close left hold. But instead, the player's blinded. Eeyore had to fall back. He found a kill. QQ traded, and with that, Beyond put themselves up 18-17, now one away from victory. So close to making it work. And they pull it across the line in the end, Dean. This is their, not their last chance, but their last chance in this OT.
It's the first chance they've had as well of actually closing the game, because of course they made the comeback happen in regulation to force us into the overtime. So it's BTRG who are certainly feeling the pressure now, which they didn't have to feel yet in this map up until this point. Something that Beyond were able to overcome, and to a much bigger extent, needing, what was it, I believe 5 rounds in a row to make that comeback happen. So 1 for BTRG, certainly achievable here to send it into a second OT. A much slower round though. Again, the up looking to find any mistakes that are made around that upper bomb site, just peeking in towards the door. But for now, BTRG, they're taking their time. They're playing this a little bit more passively. They have their nades ready, and they're willing to let Beyond run that time down a bit if that's their goal.
Yeah, indeed. Happy to play with the clock. As Beyond make their way towards outside slowly but surely. You can see the players from Team Main pulling back to lob those smokes over. So going down into Secret seems quite likely at this point. A very risky cross, but considering Xcurate has consistently played it very passive outside, hopping in from Hell, which was spotted in one of the earlier rounds, just 2 rounds ago. I think they're fairly confident in avoiding an op. If all 5 players making their way out here afterwards as they barrel down towards Secret, there's no more secrets for the T side. BTRG know exactly what they're doing, and as they push on out, that smoke has caused them problems before. You'll recall they pushed out to the left, and Mayrolls got completely torn apart by the player up above on the catwalk. This time, though, out the window they go and find both kills. BTRG in trouble if they want to get into Pro League. If they want a chance of it, they have to win this one, and 2 kills to answer back immediately. But now Sign is alone, 27 health in a 1v3, and it isn't looking too good, especially not with an AK shot to the head.
Nope. That usually ends your life, and indeed that is the case right there. 19-70, and as we said, Beyond, it was looking like they were down and out of nuke at one point. BTRG were looking for fantastic. Unfortunately, though, having a few chances to close it out wasn't enough for them. We seen the comeback happen. We seen Beyond then able to fight through the overtime, and with that, just about edge out the victory. So it was certainly a lot closer than Mirage, and probably closer than we really would have expected at all, even before seeing what happened on Mirage. But in the end, it is the 2-0, and as you said, that means it is the end of the road for BTRG. They are done. They will not be making it to Pro League.
No, they will not, unfortunately for them. But Beyond, I've got to be over the moon. I managed to come back into that. It looked like we were going to see a third map. I mean, there was not a doubt in my mind. And yet the 5 rounds in a row to pull them into that position, and then a pretty convincing overtime when it came to their terrorist side as well. That is the end of the day, though, Dean. It's been on and off for us. This game is delayed by a little bit. We mentioned that we'd probably see Beyond doing some research on their opponents, and whether they did or not, it doesn't matter, because they did damn well when it came to that first map, giving them the benefit of the doubt on Nuke. And, well, although it was their pick, shocking that it ends up being so inconsistent as well, right? We were mentioning it during the game, but when you dominate your opponent on their map pick, and then you come onto yours, and you have to win in overtime, it's so weird to see things going that way.
When you look at the gun rounds, at least in regulation, it was BTRG who were a bit more successful, because we seen kind of a strong start in both halves from Beyond, and then they ended up falling short for a while. Fortunately, in the second half, they were still able to come back into it then, and of course force it into the overtime. And then in the overtime, they did just look like the better team. Some close rounds that could have flipped it either way, but Beyond, they managed to make those plays happen, and with that, of course, take themselves that 2-0. But it was surprising how it went down. But the result itself, I don't think, was too shocking to us. We looked at the players, though, on BTRG and thought, okay, yeah, they've definitely got the firepower and the names there to make it happen. But we just didn't really see the chemistry in such as a team.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the issues. And it's something you highlighted, Dean, when we came in. If we were talking a little bit about who do we expect to win, I said, had absolutely no idea. Beyond it being terrible this morning, but we'd seen potential from them, so the inconsistency maybe would work in their favor in this series. The up and down nature of their gameplay. And for BTRG, as you said, a lot of names. You recognize every single player on that lineup, but as a lineup, how do they perform? It's not necessarily a case going, well, all 5 of these players were good in their old teams, therefore they'll be a good team. That's not how it works. And in this case, although there were some promising signs, there's definitely a lot of work to be done there. That's it for us for today anyways, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourself throughout the day of Asian Counter-Strike. It has certainly been an experience for us to transition from our normal EU and some NA stuff over to or even CIS as well, which is wacky in its own way. But then coming to
CIS
Asian...
and NA are their own forms of wacky. I would say the NACS I was covering in MDL was worse. I'm not going to
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing
I
is...
might have got really unlucky, to be fair.
A lot of the CIS region has just these powerhouse players that come out and they deliver these insane performances. I feel like the reason underdogs can win in CIS is because some players are just so damn good, especially with Deagles. They're insane. Whereas NA is more like, you guys gonna IGL or what's going on? It's a little bit of a puggy mentality, I think.
No, Mike had to tell me that this team, I was like, what are they doing? And he's like, oh yeah, this team isn't serious. I'm like, it's MDL.
Yeah, that's the thing though. A lot of them, I mean, one of the teams that made it to MDL was just a team that was a mix. Like they were playing and they were doing really well in a lot of their games to the point that they were like, I guess we're a team now. And that's what NA MDL is. So you just have to accept that going in. But yeah, it's been really fun. I'm Mitch. With me has been Dean. Hopefully you've had fun. If you have exclamation mark casters in chat, I'll give you a link to our Twitters, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next one, whenever that may be. Have yourselves a fantastic night, and we'll see you real soon.
Everybody loves an underdog. Who needs to be liked?
Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Charge up your game with excitement. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
You come and you go. You take me high, you take me low. But I don't know how to do this on my own anymore. Oh no, now it's Molly for the melancholy. Cody, fill a hole inside me. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Now it's Xannies till I know my psyche. Cocaine just to feel my heartbeat. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. Sarah.
Yeah. Black sheep, black sheep, black sheep, black sheep. I don't even write no more, man.
Tell him, yo,
God.
can't you come over?
On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my 10. Posted up in my tent. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Lose it. Get substituted. You're not recruited. Cause you're too damn scared to use it. The truth is, you're useless. What? I'm ruthless. I've proved this. Keep capping, I'ma leave you toothless. What? You're so dumb to choose this. Ain't going outside, I make it work. I'm in my bag, that's every purse on my back. Is that your girl? She got it. She make it twerk. And why you mad? I got her first. You say you rap, you got a verse. I say that's whack, you probably hurt. Back to the lab, you gotta search. On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my 10. Posted up in my tent. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it.
Why are these boys so stupid? Counting me out now, I'm counting my money. I'm probably gon' cop me a new wrist. Y'all gon' think I'm a nuisance. New sound, know me, who this? Yep, I made some improvements. Me and the gang been bowling. Your shawty gon' think we're the coolest. LSA say we got clips. We bout to make it a movie. I make a hit I can't miss. Damn, the charts might sue me. The way I be stacking my chips, probably the bank gon' sue me. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid, cause your mans can't fool me.
On my contract commando. Pulling up with clips extendo. That's no game Nintendo. I don't ever run out of ammo. I'm gon' need me a benzo. No fake friends, no pretend. No. Think I might have found my 10. Posted up in my tent. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it. Watch your man go dumb, go stupid. If you're the best, then prove it. Got no words, be quiet, stay moving. I got a bag, won't lose it.
Sitting on a bench, waiting for the time to pass, dreaming of what happens next. I see what I wanna be, questioning my destiny, only knowing what I see. I Don't even realize I've already made a path, and I can change it anytime. I can't take it back. I know what I want, but it seems so damn far away. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. I know I sound crazy to the ones who said oh. I know I empower those who dream like me. And you say you wanna be somebody. You got a voice, then you better use it. Tell yourself day after day it's time to prove it. No days off, keep the hustle moving. Wanna see you be what you wanted to be, prove it. I know